welcome to episode 6 of the Do It For Yourself podcast. I am your host FOXANNE.
And I am your host Laura, and this is a podcast for creatives by creatives.
This podcast is a mix of realness and feel-good vibes from your two new northern besties.
And today's episode, and today's episode we're joined by the amazing Charlie of Illustrated by Charlie.
Hi.
Yay! How are you, Charlie?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thanks for coming
Good.
on.
Oh, you're welcome.
So do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, fab. So I'm Charlie. I run an illustration account called Illustrated by Charlie, as you've said. It is primarily an illustration business, but I also sell prints, postcards, greeting cards, all kinds of things like that. And I run it alongside a full-time job. Yeah. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Love it. Yeah. Well, we're so happy to have you on.
Yeah.
I feel like when we were looking through, doing a bit of research and seeing who we could have on, I was like, we've got to have Illustrated by Charlie on.
Were you really?
Yeah, because I was like, she's dead down to earth. And I was like, I remember saying to her, I was like, you're going to love her. I was like, she's dead down to earth. She's very northern. And I feel like our podcast is obviously, we can have guests on that aren't northern, but I feel like you're the vibe, you know?
Yeah.
Especially to start off
thanks,
with as well.
Huns.
Yeah. I love it. And I was so excited she said yeah.
Oh, I were absolutely buzzing. Like, when you messaged me, I was like, oh my God, absolutely.
See, that makes me, I don't know how that makes you feel about yourself, but that makes me feel like, oh my God, people are really excited. I kind of get the vibe that people are like, oh no,
No, I were honestly buzzing. So, I actually listened to your first podcast because obviously we followed each other for a while, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I listened to your first podcast when you posted about it.
Yeah.
And then I messaged, I was like, oh, just because I thought, you know, when someone does something or when you do something that's a bit out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
It's nice, isn't it, when people say, oh, that were good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, right, I'll just message him and say, really good, I really liked your podcast, because I actually did enjoy listening to it.
Yeah.
And I almost as well, I was like, because on the end of your first podcast, you were like, oh, if you want to be on, there's a form to fill out or something like that. And I almost filled it out, but then I was like, oh my God, how embarrassing if they're like,
oh no.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, nah, I won't do it. And then you were like, do you want to be on it? I was like, absolutely, I want to be on your podcast.
Yeah. You were top of our list, for sure. Yeah, definitely the vibes.
Yeah.
Definitely the vibes. Really glad that
I'm
you're
so
here.
excited to be here. Yeah.
So the first question I've got for you is just sort of to tell us in your own words about Illustrated by Charlie. Just
Okay.
What's it all about for any listeners that haven't seen you before?
Okay, so I started it as a bit of a passion project about 5 years ago.
Wow.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it is. It is a long time ago, but I never really gave it that much. I've not been hammering it for 5 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started the account up. This is going off on a tangent, but I started the account up because I was working in recruitment. And I hated it. It wasn't for me. I did fashion design at uni, and then when I graduated, I just could not get a job for love nor money.
It is a difficult industry.
So hard to get into. I did loads of free internships, everything. And then I fell into recruitment. It was fashion recruitment. Mm-hmm. But I fell into recruitment, and it's not creative. It's just not, do you know what I mean? So I started it as a bit of a passion project just to because I didn't want to fall out of because I've always been creative. So I didn't want to lose it.
Lose the mojo.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't want to lose it. So I started it as an illustration account, but at the time, I was really scared for anyone to find out about it, especially within recruitment, because I didn't want them to be oh,
what are you doing?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a different kettle of fish as recruitment. So I made the account super private, blocked everyone.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
that's
it started.
so
Yeah. So it was private. I didn't tell anyone about it. Didn't tell my mates about it. Nothing about it for a year. And it was literally the only reason that account existed is so that I could draw stuff and just, do you know what I mean? And just have somewhere to document it.
Yeah.
So it was for you?
It was for me, yeah. It was literally just so that I didn't lose creativity, because why am I talking about recruitment? Where did I go from this?
Oh, right, so yeah, Illustrated by Charlie. So it was in your own words, how you would explain Illustrated by
Yeah.
Charlie. So in the beginning, it was private.
Yeah,
and
so
then...
it started as a private thing, and then it's just kind of developed and grown over time. And then slowly I started getting like a few brands contacting me, and then I just kind of like developed. But the thing is, like, I knew people who worked for those brands, so that's how that happened. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't.
But still, that's amazing.
Give yourself some credit.
No, yeah, but like it wasn't just like, oh, I'm incredible, so all these brands. Do you know what I mean?
You are,
But that's why. Do you know what I mean? And then slowly over time, that started happening. And then it just kind of picked up. And then when the pandemic hit, and obviously no one had anything else to do.
Were you furloughed?
No, I wasn't furloughed. I was like the only person. Basically, me and a few other people on the team were the only people not furloughed. I was doing like 15-hour days. So yeah, I wasn't furloughed. So I was doing like really long days because obviously there was only me and a few other people, and I'd also recently moved teams at work. So it was a like intense time. And then, like, outside of work, you were only allowed outside once a day. Like,
oh, yeah,
do
so
you
basically
remember?
you were just working.
Literally just working, like, all day. You were literally allowed outside once a day. So I started, like, doing more illustrations in the evenings. Yeah. Because...
That makes sense.
Yeah, because I'd finish work and I'd be like, I need a release. I need to do something that's not my job. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I can't just sit and... I just needed to channel stress somewhere. So I started doing more illustrations, and then I started selling them as prints. And I never ever intended to start selling prints when I started the business. Yeah, but
it's a business.
Yeah,
whether it's your side hustle or not, you know.
But I never intended to start selling prints. I always just wanted it to be like an as and when thing. Yeah. I've always been like quite like heavy on boundaries. Mm-hmm. So like I always wanted it to be for me and something that I enjoyed doing, and that's why I never wanted to start selling prints, because then I thought it'd get really stressful, which it has.
Also, I must add, I can't relate to the setting boundaries stuff. I have no boundaries
I
whatsoever.
think that's what recruitment did for me. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely think that's what recruitment did for me, because honestly, so when I was in uni, or like the first year after I graduated, I was such a pushover. I was like, yeah, of course I'll do that for you. I'll do it free. Yeah, I'll do it free. Do you know what I mean?
That was
me.
Maybe I need to go into recruitment.
Honestly, and then when I worked in recruitment, because with recruitment, like, we don't do anything unless it's going to benefit us, which is not always the best way to be.
But in a way it is, like, not just for money, but like Roxanne was saying a couple of episodes ago, if it doesn't give you joy, what is it?
Joy, money or orgasms. It's
that's
not worth
so
your time.
True. Yeah,
and it's not
so
just about
true.
money. Like, if it doesn't bring you joy, like, if it's going to make you sad, you know?
So I think that's where I've kind of moved it along. So I don't really do, like, when it comes to the illustration side of things, I give less of a shit about money.
Yeah.
More about how it makes me feel. So I would never take on a job if I genuinely didn't want to do it.
Do you think that's because you have the stability of an income as well?
Yeah, so I'm coming at that from a privileged place, and I am aware of that. So, yeah, I've got a full-time job, and a lot of people who work in like our industry, this is their full-time job, so I completely appreciate that.
So you're not, if something comes through, you're not then thinking, oh, I need to do this. Yeah. So you can say, look, it's not right for me, which I think is really good, because even though you do have this stability of an income, sometimes working with like a good brand or like doing something can still feel really great. Does that make sense?
Exactly. Yeah. So like if a job comes through and I'm buzzing about it, then I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? But like if something comes through and I'm just like, do you ever get jobs through, right? And the thought of doing them makes you anxious.
Yeah.
I'm quite privileged to be able to not do those.
Yeah, well, it depends on what where the anxiety is rooted from, because I have jobs come through where I'm anxious because it's such a big job, or it's a lot of pressure, so it's like nervous anxiousness,
Yeah.
but then I have some other jobs where I'm like, I can tell from the get-go, from the emails, that this
That's
is going
the thing.
to be a nightmare and it's not going to be worth
So,
my
like,
time.
yeah,
That's
like
the
red
thing.
flags and stuff. You can just
That's
like,
what
nope,
I mean. Yeah.
nope.
I think where I'm different, because obviously you have Laura has a full-time, part-time job as well, so you have that
Yeah.
stability.
Kind of.
Whereas, like, sometimes
Kind
I
of.
feel like I take jobs on because I
Yeah.
have bills that need to be paid.
Yeah.
And
Well, I still do,
it's
yeah.
a really, like, I don't know if I don't know how to explain this without sounding like a dickhead. I don't think the job is right for me, but
At the
my
end of
bank
the
balance
day,
needs it.
you need to
because
pay bills.
I have a dog that's allergic to everything and needs the vets constantly. So it's
Exactly.
like- but I don't
Exactly.
know.
But like that's the right thing to do. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to sit here and be like, don't take those jobs on. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
Yeah.
I'm not going to, do you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that's the right thing to do, and I would be doing the exact same thing. So I think I'm quite lucky in that
Yeah.
respect to have. It's hard in some ways. It's like, fuck me, I'm burnt out all the time. So it is.
Imagine,
Yeah.
both of that, because your shop's so busy as well, and I feel like I remember seeing on your stories you were like, I'm gonna have to shut the shop this weekend because I've not got enough time to pack orders. And I was looking at it and I was like, wow, that's
Is your
amazing.
shop, do you have a website? Or is
Yeah.
You have a website?
Yeah, so I've got a website and I've got an Etsy as well. And I find, so, started on Etsy and then I opened a website and I kind of started neglecting my Etsy when I opened my website because I can't deal with two. Do you know
It
what
is
I mean?
a bit
Like,
stressy. I'm the same.
two, I
Yeah.
don't know what it is. I don't know what it is with me at the minute. Like, this past year, since the pandemic, I used to be like fucking Iron Woman. I could deal with so much stress. I'd be like, yeah, pile it on. Like, I could deal with so much stress. And now, the slightest bit of stress, I'm like, nah, absolutely
But that's
not.
your boundaries. You're like,
Yeah.
and now I know that it's gonna burn me out. So no.
Yeah, so I can't deal with two. So I started neglecting my Etsy, and then only going on my website. And then I realised this is probably going to like the comparison culture. But you know when people are like, oh, I've hit 10,000 sales on my Etsy, I was like, fuck me, like I've not had anything close to that.
10,000.
But I kept seeing like accounts saying stuff like that, and I was like, is it Etsy? Is Etsy? Do you know what I mean? Because obviously Etsy like boosts your stuff.
It's
doesn't
very
it?
hit and miss.
It is hit and miss. So I
Yeah.
started paying a bit more attention to Etsy whilst not neglecting my
Your shop,
website.
yeah.
I find that I can't deal with both of them at the same time. I really struggle. But again, that comes from a place of massive privilege to be able to just be like, I'm not going to do this for a few weeks. So in the summer just gone, 2021, I honestly felt like I were having like a nervous breakdown. So like I would just burn the fuck out. Like everything was just
Too much.
too much. And then I was like, stuff was coming through in the shop, and I shut the shop and it was like, I've gotten too many orders. Make no mistake, mate, I won't get that many orders. Like, it's not like I was getting like fucking hundreds of orders and I couldn't deal with it. I just couldn't deal with anything at that point.
Right, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like every order that came through, I was like, fuck.
Not another one.
Do you know what I mean?
That's so interesting, that perception though that Laura
Yeah.
had when she obviously
Yeah.
brought up this
And I feel
conversation.
bad that you thought that now.
But
Because
you shouldn't feel bad because
No.
like I wasn't like, oh no,
No, yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah.
I was like, good for her, like that's amazing.
Yeah, but that, like, it wasn't the case. Like, it's not like I was getting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of orders that I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I was so overwhelmed. It was that I was overwhelmed in every aspect of my life.
And these were just added.
That these were just added, and I just kind of like, I thought to myself, right, so many people have a full-time job, and like, I've got a pretty good full-time job as well. Like, it's something that I've always wanted to do, and I've like, if you'd have told me like 5 years ago that all I did was my full-time job, I'd have been buzzing. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
What is it that you do?
So I'm a brand marketing lead. So for a fashion company based in Manchester.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So
Look at this
really
cool girl. She's amazing.
Tell me more.
so what I do for a full-time job, it's a bit of like a complicated job, so it's like kind of hard to explain what I do, but essentially what I do is I work with like the buyers and the designing team, talk about like what products are coming out and when. So like fashion, so it'll be like, I don't know, in autumn we're releasing knitwear.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just off the top of my head. And then I'll go to all the other kind of different teams within the business. So like the trading team, social team, I work really closely with the social team, like influencer team, are like, right, how are we going to market this collection or like this like range?
Yeah.
I'll then write like a shoot brief and work with the creative team to talk to like basically plan how it's going to be shot, like the campaign, how we're going to talk about this like campaign across all the different touch points. But then also I'll work, so that's BTL, so that's below the line. So below the line is anything that's not on billboards, it's not on TV,
Right, yeah.
it's not on the radio, anything like that. So
Why do they call it below the line?
because I don't know, to be honest.
Makes it sound like it's not worth anything, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so below
That's a
the
bit below
line
the line.
is basically anything that's on the channels that we run ourselves. So like our website, our
Right,
social media.
Right, okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's below the line. Above the line is TV, radio, billboards. So I also work on that. So I started out on social media and then the job came up in brand about a year and a half ago.
What did your social media job entail? Just running like the Instagram?
Yeah,
and the
so
Facebook and stuff?
I went from recruitment. That's kind of also why I started the illustration thing, because I wanted to get into like some sort of campaigns or like marketing or something. I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do because I didn't know what all the jobs were, but I knew that I wanted to get into something like campaigny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to get into it, and then I like basically stalked loads of people on LinkedIn and like saw like what they'd done to get to where they were. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And I thought, right, social media sounds like an in
Yeah.
to get into this.
Yeah.
So I started doing the illustrations and then posting about it on social media. I made the social account unprivate but kept everyone at work blocked. So I made the social unprivate and then I started like building like a bit of a social media portfolio. So I'd make like social media posts, like, you know, like back in the day when you used to run social media accounts and it'd be like inspirational quote on the social media.
Yeah.
Like we're talking like 2017 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
So I made like loads of them. I'm not a graphic designer, but I made like loads of different stuff like that, and then I reached.
When you said back in the day, then I was like, that's literally what I do.
No, you know the kind that I mean. You know the kind I mean. It's just like
the golden marble.
like that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay. Nothing wrong
Yeah.
with that. If that's your vibe.
No diss, but you know
it's not
you
for
know
me.
what I mean. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hashtag girl boss. Hashtag
That.
she-EO.
She believed she could, so she did.
I was really subscribed to that like
I
a year and a
was.
half ago, and then now I'm like, why are we putting like female like nouns in front of everything
Yeah.
and being like, oh,
Yeah.
boss bitch? Why is she
Yeah.
just not a CEO?
Yeah.
Why does she have to be a she?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Can I just say, like, massive tangent, this guy that I follow, what's he called? He's so funny. So, like, one of the posts that I saw the other day was, spokeswoman is a large term and it covers both men and women. And then it'll say, Jack, male sportswoman. Stupid things like that.
Yeah.
But, like, literally everything is, like, flipped. And it's so
love
funny
that.
to read it. But, really, like,
It
I feel
made
like
you
we
realise.
realise it, but it makes you
When it's
realise it
flipped.
even more when you see it like that.
I am honestly like, people take the piss out of me because I think my family think I'm like this fucking militant feminist. Do you know what I mean?
Oh my god, we do.
But I'm not.
They
I'm
don't
just,
bring up
I'm just
topics around me,
normal.
they
Like
like
I'm
them.
not. Well, I am. I don't know why I'm like pretending I'm not. I am a fucking militant feminist. But I don't think that I'm anything out of the ordinary. Like I just think I'm a normal person.
I think
I think you
because of
are,
our
and I think-
circles that we go around.
Yeah.
It's like an
because
echo
we-
chamber.
Yeah. But I'll hear things. So for example, me and my boyfriend were sat having, we were having some lunch in this like Thai restaurant the other day. And I heard there was like an older couple on the table across from us. She kept saying female doctor. And I was like, you know when you're just listening, I was like, that's interesting that she keeps saying female doctor. And I was like, when did females become like when was that a thing? Because I was watching Downton Abbey recently and there were no female doctors in the 1920s.
When did females become?
Well, I googled it and apparently in the 40s it became more of a thing, but it was still frowned upon.
So this is something, hot take right here. This is something that I really, really struggle with. So I'm going to use the word excuse. When the excuse comes awry, it's like, It was a different time back then.
But where's she been
Where
since?
have you been, hon?
Yeah.
Where have
Could
you been?
not agree more.
Where have you been?
Are you
Where have
stuck?
been?
Are you
I've been
stuck there?
in a fucking chamber for the past, like, 60 years.
Yeah, you
What do
need
mean?
to
It was a
fucking roll.
different time.
Need to roll with the times here.
I don't,
I
it's something
completely
like that. Whenever I hear
agree.
it's a different time, I'm like,
Yeah, it was, but
but where have you been?
Yeah.
but this is 2022 now.
Yeah.
And there's female doctors everywhere and male doctors, but you don't call
I get it.
male doctors a male doctor.
Well, like we've said, like we surround ourselves with people who are like-minded and stuff like that. So obviously it's going to be more present. Whereas these older people who aren't surrounding themselves with things like that, I get that. Like, I don't want to stand there and be like naive to the fact that some people just don't speak to younger people. I get that, but then you're listening to the radio, like. I don't know. I'm super mixed about it, but I'm like, but where have you? What do you mean? Like, I don't
You've
think
been
that's
to
an
the
excuse.
hospital and you've had a female doctor probably for about 20 years plus.
So like, what? Do you, why? Yeah, I don't know.
I think
it's a bit like I do think like where have you been?
I think you're right though, in that that's the people that we surround ourselves with. So like, when I go home, like back to where I'm from, I can tell that I surround myself with different people. Do you know what I mean? The opinions are different. I'm not going to go into it too much.
Yeah.
But the opinions are different.
Relate more.
And I find that it is true that it is just the kind of different people that I have been surrounding myself with. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you realise... Like, I just think that everyone thinks the same way as this.
And as well with, like, the algorithm and stuff, like, I think that everybody else is seeing the same things
No,
I am.
that's just what you're reacting with.
Exactly. So it's like, because I follow all of these, like openly feminist, pages and stuff. I'm seeing all these articles that are coming out. I'm reading up on all these different things and all these new movements and, like, within, like, the trans community and now, like the acceptance of it. And I'm now realising, like, speaking to other people who aren't on my algorithm, that they're not seeing this and they're not being made aware and they're not being educated on it, but they're not. It's kind of like, when you see, it's like, I don't want to, desensitised isn't the right word, but when you're seeing something over and over and over again, it's easier for it to become normal than when you're seeing things come up in media once in a while and it's for a negative connotation. Do you know what I mean? So because I'm seeing all these different things, it's a natural progression in where I'm going in my mind and where I'm going and when I'm learning new things and when I'm discovering things and when I'm speaking to different people from diverse backgrounds and stuff. Like, I'm growing as a person because I'm letting myself grow as a person, because I'm being all these things are coming at me, so I have no other option than to engage with them, whereas people who aren't on my algorithm. And
it's good to look at it in that kind of view, because I think that's quite a compassionate way to look at it. But for me, sometimes, I know you were saying earlier, like, oh, you're such a nice person, but, like, for me, sometimes I'm like, I think this way because it's right, and if you don't think this way, you're wrong. You're fucking wrong. You're a racist. Get out my face. And I'll get really, really, especially
I know exactly what you mean.
I don't want to, like, tarnish my family here, but, like, obviously my family's really big, and, like, sometimes we'll have different views, and, like, I can see the looks on their faces when they realise I'm going to come at them.
Yeah.
But this is it.
I know.
Are you? So is that where you were coming from before?
I feel you. So, do you know what? Not even just my family. Like, I get the piss taken out of me so much, like, about being, like, a feminist. Like, as soon as something's, like, I'll hear something in the street and, like, did you hear that? That's very interesting. Male privilege. Like that. Or, like, just, like, anything. Like, I was looking out of our, because we live in a flat and it's, like, got 2 corner windows, and it was dark, so it was, like, 9 p.m. and it was dark, and there's this guy who lives over from us, and he goes for a run every night at 9 p.m. What does that mean to you? Male privilege. Is that not male privilege?
That is male privilege.
So I saw him, and I always see him lacing his shoes up, and I was like, to my boyfriend, I was like, I'd love to be able to go for a run at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Like that. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, that is male privilege if ever I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've seen it.
To me.
Yeah. And my boyfriend's like, oh, right, yeah.
I don't know what to say, do they?
Because he knows I'm right. Like, he totally agrees.
Like, yes, love.
Yeah. But I'm like, fucking pricks.
Yeah, like, you don't know how good you've got it.
You don't fucking
you bastards.
know. Yeah.
And then I got accused of hating men, and I'm like,
yeah. As soon as, like, anything gets said, I'm like, you're a white, able-bodied male, so fuck.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've been with one for the past 8 years.
Yeah,
but you're different.
Yeah.
opinion on this. Sorry. See ya. End of discussion. I'm right.
I'm always like, you're a cisgender white male.
Yeah,
so.
it was like, okay.
Yeah. So, you've told us that you illustrate, and you do all these illustrations and prints. What would you say to anyone that's listening now that hasn't seen any of your artwork just yet and has just discovered you now? Like, how would you describe your style?
So it's quite like... Do you know what? I feel like my style changes every 2 minutes, to be honest.
And that's so great.
I feel like I've not fully settled into a style yet.
But I do feel
you say that, but I mean, you've got a pretty...
good style. I feel like when I see your work, I know it's yours before I see your name.
Oh, thank you. That's nice to hear.
worries.
Because I always feel like I just like, oh, I'm just going to try that this time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really feel like I've fully settled into a style yet. I guess it's like quite retro, maybe.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But in terms of like actual, like when I actually illustrate like people or things, I don't necessarily feel like I've settled into like a full style yet, because I'll see something, I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that. And I'll change. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I'm constantly changing. So
I feel like that's the best way to be, because if you're not and you put yourself in a box, then you'll never grow as a designer.
Yeah.
That was me for the last 2 years with Pink and Red. It was a box that I put myself in. I was like, I can't go out of this box. And then now I've come out of it, I feel like I've got all these creative juices flowing again. I'm enjoying creating.
Yeah.
See, that's how you keep your creative juices flowing, and I love that. That's probably why you've been going for, because you said 5 years, that's probably why you're still going strong with it, because you've allowed yourself to like really grow and develop it.
Yeah. I think because I got an iPad like a year ago.
Yeah.
But before that I was doing everything on like Adobe.
So how were you doing that? So were you using like the pen tool on Illustrator, or were you using like a graphics pad?
So you're gonna laugh. So what I used to do was I used to hand draw everything out with like a fine liner. And then I had this app on my phone that scanned. So like it was like a digital scanner. So it was an app on my phone that I scanned, and then it scanned it in as like a line. So bad quality. But it scanned it in as a line, and then I uploaded that into Photoshop and I edited it from that.
Is there any of these on your account?
I got the iPad. That one was hand drawn.
Oh.
That one was hand drawn and edited on.
Was it? That's one of my favourites. Yours. Let me take a picture for the podcast. There we go.
Yeah,
love it.
So yeah, literally, because if you look how, can you tell?
Oh,
if you look at the black lines.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then because so if you actually look at how bad quality that is.
It's not though.
But do you know? What I mean?
What? It's a vibe though. I'm vibing.
Yeah.
With it.
Oh, I love that one.
Yeah. So that hand drawn.
Let's see.
Did it take you forever?
Fucking ages, mate.
You're like, yes.
Oh my god. So that's why as well, when people used to be like, oh, can you draw me and my dog? I'm like, nah, fuck off. I don't want to draw you and your dog. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because as well, like when people came to me, like I never ever used to do like commissions for people. I only ever used to do commissions for like, so if a company approached me. So like that share was for Nasty Gal. It was for Nasty Gal International Women's Day, and honestly, my heart fell out my arse when Nasty Gal messaged me on Instagram. I remember exactly where I was, and they messaged me on Instagram, and I was like, oh.
Can I ask?
Yeah.
How much?
Not enough for that one.
How much?
I was going to ask.
So I charged, because they were only for Instagram. So I did 5 illustrations for them, and I charged them 60 quid per illustration.
Wow, that's so cheap.
Yeah. Yeah.
It makes me feel a little bit sick inside a little bit.
And they took me ages.
Yeah.
See, they must have known that was undercharging too. This is the thing, like, I feel like we don't know as designers when we start out. We think, oh, that's amazing, like, I've made this much, but I think they know that they're undercharging. And I don't want to be like, oh, sorry, Nasty Gal, like, you're undercharged. Like, I don't want to, like...
No, because I set that price. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, did you?
No, that was me. Like, I set that price. They, like, to be fair to them, they asked me how much, and I said that. So they're not going to be like, oh, well, actually, we want to pay you fucking 300. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, why would they do that? That does not going to make commercial sense for them. So, like, that is nothing on them. Like, I set that price. But I think for me, because at the time I had like 900 followers or something.
That was really good exposure.
Yeah, and like they messaged
me.
Yeah, they tagged me, and I got like 3,000 followers off it. Like
that's so
yeah,
good.
it was fucking wild. So like I don't regret that. No. Like because I wanted to work with Nasty Gal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So that was your choice, and that was your boundary. Was my You were like, right, this is enough for me.
Yeah.
For like the exposure.
Exactly.
This is the conversation we have all the time. It's like, yeah, it's pricing yourself and letting like obviously brands know that this is the going rate. But you can charge whatever you want to charge.
Yeah,
exactly. I would charge more now.
So how much would you charge now for that? Like if a similar brand came to you?
So I like to work it out by hour. So I want to be earning at least £35 an hour. Really?
Yeah.
So like
you've got to think about taxes and everything.
Exactly.
It's the equipment that you use as well.
But also what I will say when you just said about taxes, so I used to include my taxes in my prices. I don't do that anymore. So I will send them an invoice with tax on it. Do you know what I mean?
So in the invoice, will it break it down and say added tax?
Yes.
So you have that on
20% onto every single. So if you give someone a quote, and you're like, oh, this will be £100, but then when you send them the invoice, it's £100.
Because that's what everyone else does. I work in the industry, so when I get like an influencer's invoice or like a videographer's invoice or an art director's invoice or a stylist invoice or anything like that, it's got 20% on it for the tax.
Wow, my eyes have been opened. I've seen heaven, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to add 20% tax.
So I always add tax on top because that is the norm.
Cause like,
oh, what a lovely lady! I'm so thank you so much for being here. Right.
But it's interesting because I also
I don't know anybody that does it. So and no one speaks about money.
No, it's exactly
women hate talking about money.
It's interesting because if I hadn't have seen all these like. If I had not have known that because of my job, then I used to include tax and I'd be like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, like I'm just gonna do you know what I mean? Like so apologetic about it. But like no, it is the norm to add your tax onto your
know your worth and add tax
onto your payment, Yeah, so I will set my rates.
And then you know how much to put away. Because I don't put anything away. I get it, I spend it.
And then it gets to it, you're like, oh fuck.
Then I save.
Yeah.
Yeah, save from, what is it?
From April to January.
You know, I need to fill this tax bill.
Yeah. Do that.
We shouldn't be doing that. Yeah. No. Don't listen to us, please.
Well, that's a nice hot take for everybody else that's listening to do that as well.
Yeah, so that's what I do.
Because if more of us started doing it.
I think you'd be surprised at how many people do that. So like... And this is like obviously where it kind of the crossover between what I do for a full-time job and this really helps. So like if we like for example if we had a talent in some content that we were filming and we got their invoice through, it would have the price that we'd agreed and then 20% tax on it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And that's like I would never be like you've put tax because it's the norm. Everyone's got tax on their invoice. Yeah.
I feel like we've just realised something that's changed our lives.
Yeah.
I'm like speechless. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you disclose that you're adding the 20% tax on? Or do you like, oh, it's going to be this?
Yeah, so I disclose it, yeah. So I'll always be like, plus VAT. So I'll be like, I'll say my rates, and then I'll be like, plus VAT.
So when you put it on the invoice, so it's like, oh, subtotal, and then you add VAT and it's like 20%.
Yeah.
So and you then add VAT 20% and then add the total and then the two totals underneath.
Yeah. Yeah, so like up front when I'm agreeing with, if I'm going to work with someone, I will say, and again, if I'm working for a really small client, like, I'd probably be, do you know what I mean? I'd still charge them tax, but I'd be a lot more, this is how much it's going to cost you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so this is how much it is after the tax.
This is how much it is after the tax, yeah. Whereas, so, because I've been on the receiving end of it as a client, when I've been, do you know what I mean? Like, I know, I'm trying to think of like what the best way to describe it is. So if we were working with a talent and they told me the price, they would be like, oh, it's going to cost this much plus VAT, and then I'd be like, right, sound, so it's going to be this much out of my budget. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like maybe with a smaller client, I'd be like, so I'm going to charge you this much, and then it's going to be plus VAT, so I'm going to charge you this much.
Yeah. Right, so you feel like you want to be a bit more clear so that they're fully aware.
So that they're fully aware, because I don't want them hit them with 20% more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I work with a lot of smaller businesses, so I think, disclosing it would...
So, yeah, I always disclose it because I think it's proper dodge not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, just so you know, here's an extra.
Yeah, but I would always disclose it, but I wouldn't explain it to a bigger client.
Yeah, because they know.
But I would explain it to a smaller client.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like a new business.
Yeah, like a new business, I'd be like, I'm charging this much, and then there's going to be 20% VAT.
That's great to know.
Yeah.
I'm going to
This is
take
it, like,
this.
Yeah, like we do this because we want to share our knowledge as well, but that's why we want guests on, because there's only so far that we can go, because I've never been in industry.
Yeah.
You've been in industry for, a few years.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So it's like, it's nice to have people on who are still in industry.
Have different views as well, and different takes, because everyone's going to have a different take anyway. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Thanks so much for
you're welcome, Mums.
I feel like
that's totally the norm, like, and it's not like, you should never, like, everyone pays tax. You got to pay your fucking tax. Like, you shouldn't be like, oh, I'm really sorry, I've got to pay my tax. Do you know what I mean? You should be like...
It's like, that is our problem, that we need to pay tax, and so that we should make it better.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
My mind is absolutely blown by that, you know.
Yeah. Mine is. I feel like this is the best part of this podcast.
Yeah. Oh,
this has changed my life, Charlie.
You're welcome, girls.
You're amazing. You can come back anytime.
I was just going to say, just on the rates, so if it's like a bigger project, I'd probably charge a lump sum.
Yeah.
Rather than, because you don't know how many hours it's going to take, because there's going to be loads of amends. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's, I'm the same. So for example, if someone it all depends who it's for, what it's for. So like my argument for it is, if I charge by the hour, the better I get at my job, the less I'm getting paid. Mm-hmm. How does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So, one question I wanted to ask was, how did you find your style? Like, did you already I know that you're saying that your style's evolving all the time, but how did you get to where you are now?
That's a really hard question.
I guess you've already...
idea. Yeah, I feel like I just gradually, like, built up to it. So, like, when I first started, it was very much, like, black outline.
Yeah.
Plain colour on the inside. So when I first started out, I'd illustrate girls, usually. Mm-hmm. So I'd draw, like, just, like, random girls. And it was very much, like, block colour on the inside. They'd be wearing, like, a plain t-shirt. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was very, like, block, very simple.
Like, flat image.
Yeah, very flat. And then gradually I started being like, I want to put some eyeshadow on her, or I'm going to make her hair balayage. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, it gradually just became like that. And then I started, like, playing around with shadows, which, to be honest, I still think I'm shit at. Like, getting
it's
shadows.
To know where the light is.
Like, where would the light be?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. See, this is something that people say, so I'm traditionally trained. I was a painter.
Amazing.
So, like,
you know how to do
so
that.
That comes naturally to me. So when I'm drawing, like, I can imagine where the light is and stuff. Because I was doing something in front of Max's mum, and she was like, "How do you know where the light is?" I was like, "Well, it's obvious to me because I've painted and drawn so many faces.
Yeah.
That it's just because. So when obviously people who come from like a fine art back, because I find it funny how I've gone from like traditional fine art.
You were saying you were really contemporary, weren't you?
Fine artist to really contemporary.
Me stalking your podcast.
Love that. To then like an illustrator, graphic designer. I just find it wild, like the way that.
So that's something that I really struggle with, because I'm not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not a graphic designer.
Yeah, but
and
you will be.
Yeah.
Because it's all about practice. People say to me, like, I can't draw, and I'm like, but you could if you practice. It's all about like knowing proportions, where to put your hand, like when you're drawing. Yeah. So I think we will get there with the shades.
Yeah, they say 10,000 hours is how you become a master of something, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. So 10,000 hours. If you do something for 10,000 hours. Like, obviously not on once, like, over the period. So I think it works out at, like, 10 years or something, if you were doing that as, like, a full-time job.
We've got a long way to go.
That's when you become, like, a master.
Well, you've been doing it for 5 years.
Yeah, but, like, on and off. I've not been doing it as, like, a full-time job. Like, when I say I've been doing it for 5 years, like, I started this account, did it for, like, a year to get a job in social media, sacked it off for a few years.
And then you came back.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, like, and I used to do, like, little bits here and there, but I used to just not post for, like, 6 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I was out,
sometimes.
same. I was very inconsistent, and to be honest, I still am. Like I am so inconsistent with like my posting. You know, like one of the questions you were like, what would you do to our marketing? I was like, fuck me, I'm in no position to be telling you.
Well, I said, so basically, listeners, we've given Charlie the questions to have a look at first before she came in, and one of them was, as a marketing point of view, obviously because she's in marketing, like what would you do like with our businesses, so like Roxanne's business and my business? And I said to Roxanne, I was like, I know what she would say about mine, more consistency.
But I am so inconsistent.
See, like, I feel like you are like you post a lot.
Do you think?
Yeah, I think you're consistent.
Yeah,
because I sometimes don't post for like 3 weeks.
But I don't think that's a long time, and I never really think, I've not seen anything Charlie's recently.
Because that's good.
Yeah, and you're always on your reels, and you're really good on TikTok too. Like,
but again, I've not posted on TikTok in ages. And they say you're meant to post on TikTok like 3 times a day. Fuck that.
I'm sorry, but it's not going to be quality.
I haven't got the fucking time to do it 3 times a day. Because I was thinking this recently. Do you remember like when YouTube first became a thing and you'd have like the OGs like Jenna Marbles?
Oh, I loved her.
Yeah. But they were like new videos every Wednesday. She did it once a week. I got 3 times a day.
No, and that was consistent. That was good.
That was consistent.
Where it's now.
Yeah.
Because now everything's short form content, that's why.
It's the expectation. It's like everyone expects like content. And fuck me.
It's too much.
So bad.
Don't you worry.
I ain't got time. Like, sometimes I'll get home from work at like, if I ever go into the office, or I'll finish work at like 7 p.m. It's dark outside, the lighting's shit to film a TikTok. Like, I don't want...
Just want to eat me tea, go to bed.
I don't want TikToks to make as well. Like, because things take...
Yeah.
I don't want to put something out half-assed.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Put my name on it. So I overthink everything and want to make sure everything's like good quality, but then that takes time and I can't do 3 TikToks a day. But I've seen what TikTok has done for some businesses and it's
amazing.
Yeah.
I like process videos.
Yeah.
But I can't do 3 drawings a day to film process. Do you know what I mean?
Same.
It's too much.
No, same.
Yeah.
Do you know what I do? Trick of the trade here. So, I got TikTok about a year ago.
Yeah.
But I started posting on my old account and then I just wasn't gaining followers because it was an old like stagnant account, and then I think I was reading about it, I think like the algorithm had like...
Forgotten about me,
so then I started a new account and that went like higher.
Yeah.
But what I do, so I'd had all these illustrations that I'd done before I started TikTok. So do you use Procreate either of you? So on Procreate you can take away the layers. I'll just do a pretend process video of it. If I'm doing an illustration start to finish, then I will do a process video of it. But the ones that I'd done before I started TikTok, I like took the layer off and then I'd like just like draw a layer, like redraw it, and then do you know what I mean?
That's an amazing idea.
So I just did a pretend.
See, for me though, I get into a habit of like, oh, I've done this bit now, flatten. And I flatten it.
Ah, right, okay. So I never flatten.
I never flatten. I need them all individually. I have commitment issues.
Yeah, same. I never flatten.
See, with me, I have too many different bits that I get confused, and I'm like, fuck it, flatten it.
So you don't flatten the full thing though? Are you wild? You'd flatten little bits into it that can go together. Do you know what I mean? But that's how like the illustrations that I'd done before I started TikTok, that's how I made the process videos of them, because I was like...
You can do those like transitions, like like here's the photo I used, and then bam, there it is, and then
exactly.
Here it is. Might delete my TikTok and start again.
Yeah, delete it and start again. But what you like, save all your videos down first,
and then put them back on.
There's a website that I use.
Musical Down.
No, but it's the same thing. It's called the one that I use is called Snaptic. And it saves it without the watermark.
Oh, bloody gorgeous!
Yeah,
and then you can put it on.
You can put it on your reels.
Because reels don't like it when you've got a TikTok sign.
No. So save all the ones that you've done down. Make yourself a new account. There you go.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. But do you ever
just watch us fly?
Have you ever had a video go viral on TikTok?
No.
Right. So I had a few. When I say viral, like they weren't that mad. Like,
I mean, let's not talk yourself down here, Charlie.
No, but like some people get like million views. Do you know what I mean? Like, so one got like 70,000 views.
Oh yeah,
right. So I'll say that's viral.
So that for me, I was fucking buzzing.
Anything above 10,000,
yeah,
is viral.
Yeah. So I was buzzing, but then you get a lot of hate on those ones that go viral. People are fucking brutal. So it was a picture. It was an illustration.
I feel like people are using it as like a personality trait just to be mean.
Yeah, like,
just to be mean, and I don't like it at the minute.
So there was one. The first one that I ever did that went like viral was an illustration of Lizzo, and people were like commenting on it like, "Oh, amazing," and then underneath people were like, "No, it's not," and then. You saw one and you liked my clapback comment once.
Yes, I did. No, because I think you'd shared it on Instagram and then I was like, right, I'm going to find this and I'm going to like your comment.
Because I've started clapping back a bit. Like,
of course.
Depends if I have the energy for it.
Yeah.
Depends what headspace I'm in at the time. Do you know what I mean? But I've started clapping back a little bit because I'm like, fuck off. Like, I'm not hurting anyone. Like, if you don't like my illustration, fuck off then. Like, I don't care. But I can't remember. That was it. I was like, oh my God, I've just found this Procreate hack that I can't believe I didn't know about. Because I'd figured out that you could get a colour palette.
From a picture.
And I never knew that.
I think that's such a good tool.
They only added it like a couple of, like, maybe like a year ago.
Yeah, I never knew that.
It's not like it's...
So I thought, right, I'm going to make a TikTok out of this. And then someone was like, it's not a hack though, it's literally a feature of Procreate. And I was like, oh, have a fucking day off, mate.
Yeah.
Have a day off.
What is their goal?
Honestly.
Like, do they want you to be triggered or do they want you to go, oh, thanks so much for letting me know it was a feature?
Do you know what I mean? Like, but it can get upsetting.
Yeah.
And it depends what kind of headspace you're in. It can get upsetting. And that's one comment that I've had. Imagine if you're getting hundreds.
Oh no, I don't think people do.
Do you know what I mean? I once had one where I'd posted, because I sometimes put my face in videos.
Yeah.
And I did one where I was doing an illustration and this random girl commented like, oh my God, you're so pretty. And I was like, oh, thanks. And someone commented underneath like, no, she's not. I was
like, what are you getting out of that? That's just...
Fuck me.
That's just rude.
I know.
It is. But do you find, right, the negative comments hurt so much worse than like one negative comment hurts so much worse than like 100 good ones?
Yeah.
It hits you hard and it's really difficult to get out of that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does. It does hit you hard, but fuck 'em. Fuck 'em.
But do you know what? They're probably sat at home hating themselves.
Innit?
And they're probably looking in the mirror thinking, I'm not pretty at all. And that's why they
that
say
makes
it.
me sad. So that's like, I'd never, so when I clap back, I make sure I'm never horrible.
Yeah.
So I would never say anything.
It's the personal attacks. Like, I get art. Like, art is like, not... superficial isn't the right word. Art is subjective.
Yeah.
Depending on, so you might not like, there's some art styles that I'm like, not really a fan. You do you though.
But you'd never comment on it.
But I'd never comment on it. I'm just keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Like, it's alright to...
Save
you
your
can be a bitch behind doors, like behind closed doors. Be a bitch, and if you really, really want to do that, that's how you get a high off life, and say it in the mirror if you fucking want to, or say it out loud. But don't tell them about it, because then you're just passing it on and passing that negativity about, and then it fucking spreads like wildfire.
Yeah,
I just don't get what people get out of it, and this is I do think there's this like weird fucking, I don't want to use the word pandemic, but this weird fucking epidemic of people thinking that it's really cute and quirky to be fucking mean to each other. And it's like, what are you gaining out of that? Being like, oh, you fucking slag, oh, you bitch. It's like, what is happening? I feel like fucking feminism's just going like, what's it, a 180 turn straight back? I don't get it. That's one thing that put me off TikTok, because it's full of fucking kids.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, people can be brutal on TikTok. The thing is, for me, when people comment horrible things, and like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't happen that often for me, because I'm not big enough though. Like, I can imagine if you had like millions and millions and millions of followers.
I hate that mindset though.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, you're famous, or like, well, no,
then you're not a real person.
And it's like, oh.
But it doesn't happen to me often enough, thank God. But when it does, my thing is that like, I'm really happy in life. Like, I've got a really nice life, like, and I think the thing that I realised when I was happy, you know, like when you go home for Christmas or when you go on holiday, I'm never dreading coming back to my life.
Yeah.
I like my life. Do you know what I mean?
So you're not going to let them get to
I'm
you.
really happy. So like, and because of that, to be honest, even when I haven't been happy, I'm never going to troll someone. But because of that, I can't fathom what it must be like to feel so shit to want to drag someone down.
Yeah.
But even then, like, I've been going through like a bit of like a horrible phase at the minute where I'm feeling really sad sometimes.
Yeah.
Like really sad. But I would never ever dream of doing that. I don't get it.
I think it's generational.
I
think it's things like their parents shouted and screamed at them, or their parents like did X, Y,
That's
and
how
Z.
they
Be like,
dealt
you're
with
stupid,
it.
you're stupid. So then now they want to do it to somebody else. Like that's how
really
I
sad.
compute it in my mind. Like they've not really been taught how to deal with their emotions and how to turn societal negative emotions like jealousy and flip it on its head, because jealousy is seen as like a really like negative thing, but jealousy can be switched into a positive. It's like,
and everyone has it.
Unpacking
Everyone
as well.
has
Why are you jealous? What is it? You're jealous because of X, Y, and Z. Yeah, but you need to deal with that. They're not going to deal with it for you. They're not going to stop living in these. It's like, I used to be one of those people who were like, oh, they're spending so much money on shoes. You just spent $7,000 on a bag, and there's people out here who are on the breadline. Yeah, but it's her
that's not her problem.
It's her money to spend,
Yeah.
and I get it, but I do think that from where that my mind worked is that came from a place of jealousy for me, being like, I'm struggling to get by. I don't have any money. Yet this person who I looked up to is now in a really, really good house. Is a really like stable family unit. But I would never say anything to them. But in my mind, I was like, oh, what a fucking dick. Or, oh, she's just not relatable anymore. Yeah. When that was a reflection on me, not a reflection on her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, it's being open to have these discussions, to talk about this and be like, oh, I'm feeling shit, but why? But why am I feeling shit, and what can I do to help to get there?
And
but
why?
I just think
why am I being mean to people on the internet?
Yeah, why am I being mean to people on the internet?
I can honestly proudly say that I've never been mean to a person on the internet.
I don't think.
Yeah, me neither.
But you never know.
Well,
but it depends on what your morality is mean.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
no.
I don't think I've ever commented anything.
I've never
trolled.
I've never trolled.
Troll.
I don't know.
I've never trolled anyone. I've had arguments with people on MSN when I was 12.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I've had arguments with like Trump supporters on Twitter and stuff. But then I realised like I need to distance myself from it because it's not making me happy and I'm not changing their mind.
I used to have a Tumblr.
You can't argue with an idiot.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a piece of advice that I got once. You can't argue with an idiot because you're just going to sound like an idiot.
Yeah,
yourself.
That's true.
We were having this conversation last episode. So my mother-in-law, she sells products, like she has a baby shop and she also does some reselling as well. So it's all things that she kind of buys and then sells out. And she was like, you take everything so personal to you because it's you make it.
Yeah.
This is your craft. This is your art. She was like, if I try a product, it doesn't sell, I'll just move on and try another product.
Yeah.
She was like, but you've made time, you've made this product, you've produced it, you've done this, you've done that, and it's a part of you.
Yeah.
That's why every little thing feels so overwhelming, because it is so personal.
Yeah.
Because I take it, I don't know about you, but I take not selling things as a personal attack.
Same.
So if like I'm not good enough, like my skill isn't great, I'm obviously not succeeding.
Yeah.
I should just quit my job and get like a normal 9 to 5.
Yeah, I do take things really personally, and you know, like when you see, you know, when other small businesses, I don't know if you've noticed, but they'll post like pictures of like how many orders they're taking to the post office that day and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, I hate my life. Like, why did that not happen to me?
Yeah, and but then that might have been a fluke. Do you know what I mean?
It might have been a fluke, but then similarly, like, I've been guilty of it. Like, around Christmas, I got a fair amount of orders, and I was like, thanks for everyone who's ordered, guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
same with me.
So that's why I try not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've felt shit about it in the past. And I don't know, like, do you know when you just said that you'd seen that I'd had to take some time off because I couldn't deal with orders?
Yeah.
I hate that you thought, oh, she was getting loads of orders.
But like,
that makes me feel sad.
Do you know what I mean? A horrible way.
No, I know that. I completely know that. But like, I never want to come across as like, I'm doing so well. Why are you not? Do you know what I mean? Which is not how I think. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
You feel like that maybe because of the way that you felt before.
Yeah.
But like, me as somebody that follows you on Instagram would never look at you and think, oh, she's snobby and she's thinking, I've got so many orders and you've not. Like, I would just be happy for you.
Thanks.
I think this is, like, I'm mixed with this, because obviously, like, I'm all about, this is it. You can't censor yourself I don't think you should censor yourself for other people. I think that if you want to shout about something that you're doing from the rooftops, fucking shout about it.
But then on the flip side,
I can't be in charge of somebody else's triggers.
Yeah,
that is so true. But on the flip side, I think it's really good. Like,
on the receiving end
you
of
once did a post, and this was before we had ever spoken. You once did a post, and you were like, you were really honest in this post, and you were like, I'm going to be completely honest, I basically didn't sell anything from this recent launch, And I read that and did a breath of relief. I was like, oh my God, other people do the exact same thing. And I was so glad, because, like, you're a big creator. Like, I see you as a big creator. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, though? So when I saw that post, I was like, oh, thank fuck.
I think that's
we
what
should
some
have
people
more
think.
of that.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I love seeing. Well, no, I don't love seeing stuff like that.
I love seeing people.
No, I don't. That's not what I mean. I don't love seeing stuff like that, but I like to see. It does just make you feel a bit like you're less alone, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So when you did that post, I felt so much better, because I'd also had a shit month, and all I was seeing on Instagram was, oh, I'm having an amazing month. I'm having an amazing month.
And that's like good for you.
Yeah, amazing for you.
That all your wishes and dreams come true.
Yeah,
but you can take it as a personal joke. It's like, well, why are these people spending money on her art and not mine, or their art or something?
But sometimes it's all situational.
Yeah, it is. So I do struggle with comparison culture. I think a couple of months ago I had it bad. Like, I was like, when was this? It was probably like April, May last year. And I didn't want to post anything, because, like, I just felt like I'd post something and it'd get, like, barely any likes. And I'd be like, what's the fucking point? I work all day and then I do this on the side. Why don't I just chill? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's good not to put pressure on yourself sometimes.
And I was really, really struggling with, like, comparison culture. And then I was like, every time I, like, sat down to create something, I couldn't think of anything. Do you know what I mean? And, like,
so it sort of do you think maybe the comparison culture gave you a bit of a creative block?
Because I think what was happening was, so I was seeing all this, like, stuff, and I was like, oh, I should try something like that. And then I'd sit down, but then it wasn't my work, like, it wasn't my do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I work best when I have an idea and I'm like, oh, I'm buzzing to make that. Like, I can't, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm buzzing to draw that. Like, I really want to draw that, or I really want to make that. And I find that when people become too heavily inspired by other people,
takes creativity out
of it, and it takes all the fun out of it.
Yeah. And as well, because we make art to post on social media, we kind of, instead of doing, I knew that I fell into it, especially with the pink and red. I was making art that I thought people would engage with.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with me. Yeah,
I find joy in doing. That's why now my engagement's a bit short, because I'm making stuff for me now.
Yeah, but
that's what you need to do.
But do you not enjoy it so much more?
I enjoy it so much more. And it's almost like, I don't get as many likes, or I don't get as much engagement and stuff. I do think that, like, creating content for you and yourself and what's true to you, in the long run, it has no shelf life. It won't go out of fashion, because
it's you.
Yeah.
Whereas when you try to hit these trends, you might go viral because the trend's now in, but then as soon as that trend passes, where are you, hon?
I feel like we touched on this a little bit. What are the positives and negatives of running your own small business? So we've sort of, like, looked at, like, the comparison culture, how that's, like, quite bad, and, like, the negative side of social media. But what are the main positives and negatives, like, the main ones?
So I think positives are definitely that I fucking love it. Like, I really it's something that I really enjoy doing. Yeah. And I don't think that I'd be able to do it if I didn't love it.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
at least not for a long period of time.
No, like, I look forward to doing an illustration.
Oh.
And do you know what I mean? Like, I really enjoy doing it. It's like a little creative outlet, because although, like, I have got a job in the creative industry, it's not as creative as it might sound. There's a lot of admin, there's a lot of, like, do you know what I mean?
Not as hands-on.
It's not as, it's not as hands-on as it may sound. It's still creative, which I love, but I love sitting down and then looking at something and being like, I made that.
Oh, there's no better feeling.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. We've spoken over the past sort of year or so.
Yeah.
Like, on and off. Like, you kind of make, like, friends, don't you?
But no, we're friends.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know, but you make your little internet friends, don't you? Like, do you remember when you asked me if I wanted that card reader?
Oh, yeah.
And my friend, so you know Kyle, who brought with me, he was like, so, like, who's this girl? I was like, she's my Instagram friend.
Oh, yeah, can I just plug this, right? So basically, I signed up, like, over a year ago to be a sum-up card reader seller. And they gave me 3 for free, to sell. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to sell them. Like, so I started messaging people. And I was like, oh, Charlie, I think I asked Roxanne, but she'd already had one. And I was like, just have them for free, because when they get activated, I get 30 quid. I haven't even had a look yet. But you're the only person I've given one to. So I'd messaged Charlie, and then we met up while I was eating. I think
it was on Edge Street.
Yeah, I was outside.
Outside Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, it was when everyone had to sit outside.
Yeah.
And then you were like, oh, are you Laura? And I was like, oh, yeah. Like, here's the card reader.
And I was like, I came over and was like, because I knew you were Laura, obviously. Because I knew exactly what you fucking looked like. And I came over and I was like, hi. Are you Laura? And you were like, oh, can I give you a hug? And I was like, absolutely.
I feel like it's all about consent,
and then Kyle was like, oh, Instagram friends.
Yeah.
But I think that's definitely a plus side of it. I'm quite lucky in that my, like, group of friends that I have from, like, uni, we're all quite creative. So, like, one of my best friends is a fashion designer.
Love it.
Another one works in influencer marketing. 2 of them are graphic designers. Like, and one of them, like, works in social media. We're a creative group of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so you're surrounded by like-minded people.
Yeah, but none of them are illustrators. And none of them, like, sell anything.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't really share stories, and, like, there's very niche things that piss you off. That it's nice to be able to, like, do you know what I mean? This is very niche. And, like, I'll sometimes complain.
Rant about posting something.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So that's a real plus side of it.
Yeah.
Plus side is that I get to work with, like, some really cool brands. I've been really lucky to say that I've worked with, like, some sick brands. Like, do you know what I mean? That I've been
love it. Yeah.
That I've been like, I can't believe I've been approached by these brands. Like, who the fuck who works there follows me? Do you know what I mean? So that's obviously a massive plus side. I think a downside would, and I don't, like, I'm almost a little bit reluctant to say this because I don't want anyone listening who might be thinking of, like, starting out. I don't want this to, like, put them off, but, like, I never really struggled with mental health before I did this. And now I really do. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what?
In what aspect?
Yeah.
What do you
So
think that off?
I don't know, because I don't necessarily know if it's a direct...
Because it could have been, like, a pandemic as well.
Exactly. But, like, I've always been, like, quite confident in myself. I don't know, like, I've always just been, like, quite self-confident. And I feel like we've kind of discussed about the comparison culture, I now find myself really comparing myself to, like, every other person.
It isn't nice, is it?
It's not nice. And I think I'm not really a massive user of social media outside of my illustrations, which is weird because I did work in social media for, like, 5 years.
Yeah. Maybe that's why.
But I think that is why, because when you work in it, then you don't really want to do it as a, do you know what I mean, like, outside.
It's a bit like when you work in a chippy, you don't want fish and chips.
So I was never really a massive user. I mean, people listening might, like, my boyfriend might be like, she definitely was.
She's always on Instagram.
Yeah, always on Instagram, but I was never...
Yeah,
like, I never really subscribed to it, like...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, another, like, thing that has massively impacted mental health is that, but then also, really simple, I'm doing a lot more now and I'm burnt out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I am burning out. Like, there is sometimes when I have inboxes, I'm like, I don't have space right now.
Yeah. To message back.
To reply to you.
Yeah.
And then it's a bit of a cycle because, like, I'll click on WhatsApp, I don't have any notifications on. So, like...
Oh, I don't.
No, like, I never get notifications. So I have to, like, click into WhatsApp to see if somebody's messaged me. WhatsApp is, I don't know about you, but WhatsApp is, like, a main trigger for me. I don't know what it is about WhatsApp, but, like, fuck me, I hate it. I want to delete it. I hate it.
I don't have that many friends.
So I started therapy earlier this year because I was struggling with anxiety. Yeah. I just felt like I don't remember the last time I felt calm. Do you know what I mean? Actually calm. I don't know. What's that? Who's that? Who's she?
Who is she? Do you know what you need? You need a holiday.
Well, yeah, I know. So anyway, I started therapy and I was talking to my therapist and, like, I am really lucky that I have got an amazing group of friends. Like, genuinely, the people that I'm surrounded with, my boyfriend's amazing, my friends are incredible, my family, like... I am so lucky with the people that I'm surrounded with. They're just great people.
Yeah.
But I still feel anxious and I didn't know why. So, like, I'd go into like WhatsApp, for example, and there'd be, like a group chat, like, please never add me into a fucking group chat, I can't deal with them.
I know. You don't go on it for a day, 200 messages.
100 messages, and then you start feeling like, and then people will talk about plans that they've got, and it's like, oh, it was in the group chat, and you're like, I didn't see it. No, I'm not invited. Do you know what I mean? And then it kind of like becomes a bit of a cycle, and you feel like you can't. I don't know what it is.
I've never been in a group chat with girls are like friends. I've never
very jealous, but then again, like,
I don't know, like, we've had this conversation before, like, I find it very hard to make friends and to keep them because I find I'm one of those people. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm one of those people, as soon as I feel like I need to protect my energy from you, you're gone. Like, I can't deal with it.
I think that is good.
I cut you off. Like, I now pretend that I've never known you before in my life.
We better watch out, Charlie.
But the thing is,
I think it was because I was I weren't finding friends for the right reason. I was finding friends because I felt like everybody was telling me that I needed friends.
Yeah.
No, I've never been in a group chat, and the thought of it makes me anxious. Honestly, like, I'm in like a family group chat.
My messages. No. 65 unread.
I don't even have the badges turned on.
Do you not?
No, turn them off. I've not even got WhatsApp on my home screen, so I've got to swipe and search it.
I like that.
I hate it. I hate notifications. If I could get a Nokia 3310, absolutely I would. But, like,
it's too much pressure, isn't it?
Too much pressure. I can't deal with it. Like, I just can't deal with it. Like, I don't know what it is. It's only really been over the sort of past few years. Because I used to be, like, such a consumer of social media, and I used to be like, oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? And now, over the past few years, I'm like, oh, fuck this. Like,
I see social media in a different light now since it being a business for me.
Yeah.
Like, Max says this all the time, like, it's like, oh, you're on, that's my boyfriend, who's like, you're on social media, but, like, that's you working. Like, you don't ingest social media the same way I do. So when I'm on social media, I'm like, right, let's see what trends are going on. So I'm never just, like, aimlessly scrolling. I'm like, oh, that's a trend, right, let's save that sound. And, oh, let's do this. Oh, what are they doing? And what are these doing? And it's like, oh, well, I'm replying to comments. I'm replying to DMs.
See, that's probably why we get burnt out, because all of that, even though it doesn't seem like it, that's work.
Yeah.
So, like, you're working all the time. And do you know why you probably like that with your messages? And I know I'm the same. You're just overwhelmed.
Yeah, I do.
You're overstimulated, like when my cat gets stroked too much. We're being stroked too much.
Yeah.
You've got too many things going on, too many hands stroking your back.
Yeah.
That's a weird. I'm so sorry.
I loved it though. I mean,
I did not love that.
You set the vibe.
You're right, you're overwhelmed, and you can't. That's you trying to take control of like. No, I'm eliminating that from my life. I don't want to see the notifications because that's one less thing to feel overwhelmed by.
Yeah. You only have so much space in your brain, and if you have work and then you was doing social media, but now you've got this whole other side of business, and then it's kind of encroaching into that, and it's just like, there's only so much space that you can.
Humans are not built like that.
Humans aren't built for capitalism.
No, we're not supposed to. That's not how we're supposed to live our lives. Like,
no.
At the risk of like going on a massive tangent of like, do you know what I mean? Of like how humans are supposed to live. That's not how we're supposed to live. Like, I can't remember what it was that I read recently, but it was about like basic primal human needs, and they are rest, water, food. I think like interaction and community was one of them. And like I'm not perfect and I don't get it right every time, but I try to get that right first before anything's, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Before I take anything else. So like, if I haven't had enough sleep, I'm not going out. Do you know what I mean?
That's your boundaries from recruitment coming through.
That's a boundary. So like, I'm really like, probably quite selfish in that if I don't want to do something, not a fucking chance you're gonna get me to do it. I need to stop swearing. So if I don't want to do something, I'm not gonna do it.
I hate
and
how being selfish is like.
But I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I'm really proud of it because as well, like I'm not selfish in a horrible way. Like I would never hurt anyone, but I'm going to be completely honest and say that I come before anyone else to me.
Yeah.
Of course I do.
You've got to think about it
I'm
in this way. Like, would your friends would probably feel really terrible if they knew that you'd just gone out to please them and you didn't want to be there.
Exactly. I would never do that. Like, I would never go somewhere, unless it were like someone's wedding or something. Yeah. Like, I would. Like, I'd do that. But, like, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't do something that's going to make me feel like shit. Because
I love that.
I really...
Can't relate.
I'm a people pleaser, so I can't either.
I'm a people pleaser. I'm like, oh, you want me to do this? Yes, of course. A good cherry on top as well. I'm like Ned, you know, Ned Flanders when he's making the hot chocolate for Bart, and that's all the little extras. Like, that's me just with everybody. But I am learning to kind of set some boundaries now and be like, no, I'm not doing that.
Honestly, Hans, get yourself a year in recruitment.
Charlie, you've inspired me more than you'll ever know.
Oh, thanks.
No, you actually have. I've learned so much so far.
I've learned so much so far.
Yeah, I feel like this episode's quite long. It's going to take me a while.
We're using this podcast episode to kind of grow as people as well. Yeah. Guests on me like, please help us.
The Dalai Lama.
Yeah. Is that the right thing? Help us navigate through life.
But as well, like, I don't want to come across as preachy. Like, I am guilty of people pleasing as well. Like, I'm not 100% of the time, like...
I don't think anyone is.
No. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not...
I don't think you can be 100%. It's not, the world's not black and white.
No, like, you never ever could. And, like, there is things that I do for people that I don't really want to do, but I'll do it because you're my mate and you do it for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's it.
Yeah. There's a balance.
Yeah, I was just going to say balance.
Yeah.
Took the words right out.
Yeah, there's a balance. But, yeah, I am quite precious now, especially since... Because obviously I've kind of mentioned it. I went to therapy earlier in the year because I was really, really struggling. Like, I feel like I've known that I was going to need therapy since I was probably about 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I've always known. There's always been a little bit like I've always been. Oh, there's stuff I need to talk about here. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And but I've been fine. I have been fine, and it was only sort of came to a head in the summertime, and I don't know what it was that triggered it. I've absolutely no idea. It could
could be anything.
Could be anything.
Could be
no
nothing.
idea. But I felt like my life was falling apart. It was I remember walking into the spare room when my boyfriend was working in there. I was working in the kitchen, and I was like, I'd had like a minor inconvenience at work. Like,
sometimes it literally can be anything.
Yeah. And normally I'm like, oh, whatever, fine, I'll deal with that in a minute. I just started crying. And I walked into the spare room and I was like, I think I'm having a nervous breakdown. Like,
oh, Charlie.
And like, I do think it was a nervous breakdown, because I always think that nervous breakdowns are made out to be like, oh, well, she quit a job and she joined a convent and now, do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
They're made out to be like a massive explosion, but that is what it felt like to me in my head. And like, it affected everything. Like, I couldn't look in the mirror. I hated myself. Like,
this is breaking my heart.
No, but don't. I don't, like, I can talk about it now because I have got through it, but I couldn't look in the mirror. Like, I hated my body. And this is going to sound a bit self-centered. Not self-centered, but the thing where I knew that something was wrong is I've always struggled with my body, right? So I've never looked in the mirror and been like, yeah, my body's amazing. And I hate that because that's something that's been ingrained in myself, but I've always struggled with that. But I've never felt ugly. Like, I've never looked at my face and been like, beautiful, but I've also never looked at my face and been like, you're an ugly bitch. Do you know what I mean? But I was looking at my face and I just felt, I hated myself. I hated everything about myself. And I've never felt like that. I've always liked myself.
Yeah, and that was you being like, oh shit.
That's how I knew.
Maybe this is your brain. That was your brain telling you, like, you need to do something now.
Yeah, like, honestly, everything. I didn't want to be around people. Like, you know, you say that you've struggled to make friends.
Yeah.
I've never had that problem, and I did then. Do you know what I mean? So, like, when I was in a room with people that I didn't know, I didn't want to be there because I didn't want to present myself like that to them, to these people that didn't know me.
Right.
Because I wasn't myself. I wasn't who I was, and I didn't want them to meet me in that stage of my life.
And think that's her.
And think, do you know what I mean? Even though I probably wasn't acting that different.
Yeah. It's just the way that you felt, really.
Everything. Just literally everything. Like, I was crying all the time. Just everything. Just, like, plummeted. So I went to therapy and I was talking about anxiety and talking about, like...
Sorry to interrupt, did you go to the NHS?
No, I paid for it. So
was it, like, more counselling?
Yeah. So, and again, I'm aware that in itself is a huge privilege.
We've spoken about this.
Yeah. Because, don't get me wrong, I'm not like a fucking baller. But
it's worth
I needed therapy then and there.
Yeah.
And because I had the funds to be able to pay for it, I got it then and there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I know that that's not the case for a lot of people.
Yeah, most people.
Yeah. I know that that's not the case for most people. So I'm aware that that's like a massive privilege. Yeah. But so I paid for it and it's helped me no end. Like, I know that usually there's like a massive waiting list.
Yeah.
And I know that, like, I'm saying that I needed it then there, so do most people.
Yeah.
And they've got
that's okay. That doesn't invalidate how you...
No, I know that. But yeah, so I paid for it and I started just talking to her about, like, my anxieties, and it was very apparent that I was taking on, like, way more than I could chew.
Yeah.
And I can't remember how this relates to illustrations, to be honest.
It was the downside of...
the downside. And that was it. So when I was feeling like that, I didn't want to post anything, because if I posted an illustration when I was feeling like that, when I was in that stage, if it got, like, no likes, oh my God, I would have taken that so personally. Whereas now, if I post something and it gets, like, less likes, I'm like, that's annoying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But at the time, I was like, I'm shit at everything I do. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel a bit like that at the minute.
Yeah.
I do. I really relate. And I don't want to make this about me.
No.
But I feel I had to call in sick yesterday and the day before for the pub at work because I just couldn't get out of the house.
It's so
I
shit.
know, it is shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know whether I'm taking on too much because I always feel like I'm not doing enough. Yeah. Like, did you ever feel like that?
Yeah.
Even though you knew that you were taking on too much, you still felt like you weren't doing enough.
That whole fucking, and this is like, I'll speak about it again, but it's the whole fucking
girl boss,
hustle bitch fucking vibe, and it's like, oh, if I'm not fucking, I'll work until, like, my feet fall off, and I'll work until this, and
what kind of life is that?
If I'm sleeping, I'm not working hard enough, and it's like, yeah, that's cool, and I get that, like, we are making some strides into, like, equality, but who are you proving yourself to?
Yeah. Would you not just rather feel calm? Like, for me, feeling calm is like the holy grail of life. Like, that is what I strive towards.
I want my brain to be still.
I want to feel
for, like,
calm.
10 seconds just to not be having to think about things.
10 million things.
Yeah.
I'm constantly thinking about things. I'm constantly thinking about work or, like, family stuff or at relationship stuff and money and stuff like this, and it's money doesn't solve all problems, but it fucking helps.
Though.
It helps.
If I won the lottery, oh my god! I mean, it wouldn't solve my depression.
Money doesn't solve
people who say money isn't
a point of privilege.
I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more.
I grew up on a council estate. My mum and dad were on the dole for most of my young life.
Yeah, I've not necessarily come from the most privileged background in the world, so yeah, I completely understand. Like, it used to really fuck me off, to be honest. Like, I remember when I first moved to Manchester, right, when I graduated. This is hilarious. No, this is funny. Me and the girl that I moved here with, my friend, we moved into this flat. It was honestly the fucking shittest flat you've ever seen in your life. My bedroom was honestly like a box room. It could fit a bed in it. My wardrobe was in the front room. My drawers were in the front room. We didn't have a telly. Our freezer was in the front room. We didn't have a telly. We used to sit and do crafts. Because we couldn't afford a telly. And this was just after uni. I remember once we were like, should we get the train into town and look around? And we were like, oh, should we? Can we afford the train into town? We were honestly on our arses, skin. And like when I used to see stuff like, money doesn't make you happy. I remember used to think like, it would definitely make me happy right now.
It would help.
It would definitely,
really help.
Yeah.
It would really, really help.
And in some cases, it actually directly makes you happy because, like, if you couldn't have afforded therapy this year,
100%,
you might not.
I'd probably
be
still be waiting.
You are now.
I would probably be still waiting on the NHS waiting list, and I'd still be feeling the same way, and. I don't know where I'd be. Like, I genuinely don't. I don't know how I'd be feeling right now.
So I'm just gonna look at the questions.
Oh, let's do them if you're in charge of marketing, man, in your business.
Oh yeah, so I really found this really hard, to be honest. So I was looking at both of your accounts and I was like, who the fuck am I? Who am
get on that high horse.
To say anything, because like I've said, I am so inconsistent with like posting and stuff.
See, I don't think you are.
No, but I am.
Get out of that.
But one thing,
person that you like, because you are your client, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Get out of that. Pretend that we're hiring you.
Yeah.
And you're gonna sort out our Instagrams.
So it's not that I'm sorting it out. Let's get
you
that
need
straight.
work shit.
Let's get that straight. It's not that I'm sorting out, but one thing. Yeah, actually, Roxanne, can we just have a bit of a chat about? I nearly called you FOXANNE then.
I mean, you should do. I mean, that's what everybody goes.
No, so it's not that I'm sorting out, but one thing that I would develop on both of yours.
Oh, you can tell that she's fucking in a business now, can't you? She's like, I would
develop.
Let's
one thing.
Circle back to that.
One thing. Let's just put a pin in that. No, one thing I would develop is I love how both of you are really open about how you're feeling, stuff that goes wrong, your mental health, like the real side of it. So what I would say is please do more of that, because I want to follow people like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think you should only follow social media accounts that benefit you and make you feel not shit about yourself.
Feel seen.
Yeah, make you feel seen and make you feel validated. So that is one thing that I would definitely do more of for both of you. And it's something that it's really fucking hard though. Like, something that I try to do as much as possible, but like, it's really hard. Like, you know when you went on stories the other day and you were just so open. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, what a fucking legend.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Like, what a legend.
I was just feeling really down. I was crying and I was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't want to burden anyone, but then I was
you weren't like, it's not a burden.
Yeah, and then obviously I just cried and then I posted it and I didn't even feel embarrassed. I was like, I feel so down that like I couldn't even care. Yeah. Noel Gallagher, my fave guy in the world, could knock on the door right now and say, Laura, can't give us a kiss. And I'd be like, I'm not bothered. Like, do you know what I mean?
So we're going to have to circle back on Noel Gallagher.
No.
Yeah, I'm just choosing to.
Noel Gallagher is the worst.
No, I love him. I've met him twice. I've got selfies with him.
Oh, no, Liam all the way, me.
No, but I do love Liam. I do love Liam as well.
No,
I love them both. No, Noel, I don't know what it is about Noel.
Noel came for Little Mix. Now I love Little Mix.
Oh, he comes for everyone.
But I didn't like what he said about.
No, I didn't either.
What did he say?
He said that. What did he say? basically said they were shit.
He basically said they're the shit and they don't write their own songs.
Shit and they don't write their own songs. And Jade was like, yeah, it's funny that he came for us because we're definitely the most successful girl band in the country, but he's not even the most successful person in his family.
I love that. I do love that. It was incredible.
I do love that. But to be fair,
she sipped a cup of tea.
Yeah, then she was like,
where did this happen?
It was. She was on like 8 out of 10 cats or something like that.
Talk show.
She was on some talk show.
But I missed him saying all that. But I have fell out of him for a bit because he was upset about having to wear a mask on a train, and he was like an anti-masker. And I thought, right, I'm distancing myself from you and your music, Noel. But I was obsessed with him in uni. He did get me through uni, to be fair. But I do love Liam.
I'm a Liam Gallagher gal.
Yeah, he's just hilarious. Have you seen his is it 82 question with Vogue? You know that series where they get people in and the guy asks them 82 questions, 70 something questions. And like they walk through the home and it's very staged. You can tell that they know exactly what's happening.
Right.
And they've like prepared everything. But Liam did one. And he obviously didn't look at any of the questions, and they're just walking in this field, and he's like, yeah, like. But
I just think he's so funny.
He is so funny. Do you know who everyone always says is like Liam Gallagher? George, my boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's because he's got a Manc accent.
Yeah.
But everyone's always like, oh yeah, I see why you like the Gallagher brothers, and I'm like, oh. But yes, like I'd like opened up and. To be honest, obviously I had a shit time yesterday and the day before, and I did like a little very quick like typography thing that said it's okay not to be okay, and like I was gonna post it on Instagram like, oh, I had a shit day, but then I didn't.
Why?
Because I felt, I don't know, like attention seeking.
No, it's not attention seeking.
Do you know what I mean?
We need to get rid of that mindset. Like, we really need to abolish that because it's not attention seeking. I think I love that you do that. I don't love that you feel like that, obviously. I wish that you didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad that you talk about that you feel like that, because I think that it makes people feel more normal when they feel like that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And
also, if I saw that, I would feel more open to talk to people.
Because similarly, I've come here today and I've poured my heart out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that if you two were just like really professional all the time on like social media.
Yeah, but let's just fucking abolish that professionalism.
Yeah.
Professionalism for who's
standard. as well. Professionalism, that always makes me laugh because I work in what is probably perceived to be a very corporate environment, and I'm exactly like this in the office.
Well, you should have to.
Do you know what I mean? Like this is how I am, and this is how everyone is in the office. Like professionalism. Do you know what I mean? It's 2022, mate.
Like, what even is it?
Yeah, like being professional. Like I say, I work in like quite a corporate environment, and I'm not any different in the office to how I am. In,
I like that
outdoor life, and neither is anyone else at work. Like it's a very like casual environment.
That's it. Like we've had a conversation about it before. Like we're aware that we are quite open, like more open than some, and like there's some creators who I've like followed for a while, and I've kind of felt a little bit. Obviously I'm not going to name names, but like felt a little bit disconnected from them, being like, oh, you're not. There's some aspects of your life that are relatable to me, but not really, because you're all up and go and get them, and let's make this bread, and I'm up at.
Let's make this bread.
4 o'clock in the morning and stuff like that, and that isn't attainable to me. I can't get up before 8:30 and function properly. But then when they have come out and they have, like there's one that in mind in particular, when they have come out and I've been like, I'm having like a really tough day today, I've almost personalised them.
Yeah.
Like
they're a human. They're not just
humanised them. They're not just this cog in a machine that's going.
They're not just like
that is
performing.
Yeah. But one thing that they did say, there's like, I'm coming on and I'm saying that like I'm feeling really like bad today and I don't really feel well. I'm gonna just have the day in bed. I feel really bad saying this because I really want this space to be a positive space, and I'm like, but
life isn't 100% positive 100% of the time. That's not realistic, and I think that's something that is a very common misconception. So people who don't struggle with their mental health, right, are not 100% happy 100% of the time. It is very normal to have ups and downs. And I think that some people think that as soon as they have a down, they're like, oh, there must be something wrong with me. Like, there must be some, do you know what I mean? There must be something wrong with mental health. Because nobody speaks about that it's normal to have down days.
Yeah. Like we were saying that, like, you can be depressed,
sometimes you're just in a mood.
You can feel anxious without having depression and anxiety.
Absolutely. And, like, I'm not to diminish, like, I have had anxiety and I have had, like, depression.
Yeah.
I know that it's really fucking bad. I know that. But I've also felt anxious when actually in a period of time in my life when I've been fine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, do you know what I mean? And I just think that people think that if you don't have mental health problems, then you never feel down. Yeah, you never feel down, but it's not the case. Like, people do feel up and down all the time.
We're humans. We fluctuate with things and situations.
I think it's really important to talk about the downs rather than, like,
ignore them and pretend they're not there.
Yeah, like, social media is obviously a highlight reel, and when something really good happens for me, I'm going to share it on social media, obviously.
Vicky Patterson has been doing some absolute making moves.
Fucking love Vicky Patterson.
She's been completely open about like her reflection of being in her 20s, and now she's obviously in her 30s. And
wow, I've not seen any of this.
Obviously in her 30s, but like now she's in her 30s, and she's just been saying like things that she would say to herself, and she's always being very open about her mental health. And I think it's good to see someone with so much influence. So they say like the average person in their life influences 10,000 people.
Really?
Because
just like a normal, like
just by
anyone
a snowball effect.
Oh, wow.
Snowball effect. There's like, so if you've got a following, you are doubling, tripling, quadrupling that, because it's like, I mean, you will have this conversation and you will speak to your friends about it, which then they might then speak to their friends about it, and that's it. So like the average person, quote unquote, will influence 10,000 people in their life. So people who have these millions and millions of following, they have so much like potential to do so much good. Also, it's not on them to do that. If they want to do that, that's cool. If not, that's also cool. Yeah. But I think there is so much potential, and especially with like the coming of age teens now that are about, like my little sister is she
Gen Z.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine being a teenager in this
TikTok
time.
And she's on, and
you're easily influenced at that age as well, because your brain's like a sponge.
Yeah, and I think we're the weird generation that we had a before internet. And
what is it? Zennial. When were you born?
95.
Yeah, so I was 94.
I'm 94 too.
I was reading something, and obviously not me trying to cling on to my youth, but I was reading something that like we're not actually millennials, we're like, is it zennials? Because I think it's like 93 to 97 or something.
Yeah, because I feel like I can't relate to either.
I don't relate to millennials and I don't relate to Gen Z, but I also relate to both of them on a lot of things.
One thing I wanted to ask you as well, I saw you'd done, was it your first market at Northern Quarter?
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah, really, really good actually.
Was it Christmas one?
It was Christmas one, yeah. So I've been trying to get on that fucking market for so long, and then because they put a password on it, don't they?
Did someone give you the password?
No, they didn't give me the password. But basically, I got onto the market just fluke. They emailed about one in Urmston, I think it was, and I just clicked on. I was like, gonna see if Northern Quarter, because I set my alarm for when it went live to everyone that wasn't on the password system, and they had already booked, sold out.
Yeah, that's what I tried to do this month. Already gone. I thought, fuck you.
Yeah. So I've got onto the market, and then the girl on the stall next to me was like, oh, now that you've done one, she'll give you the password. So I was like, fucking buzzing. That's when we were messaging.
Yeah.
And then I emailed for the password. She was like, no, sorry, it's for permanent creators only. And I was like, how do you become a permanent seller? And she was like, oh, it's just, as and when we've got room. I was like, okay.
Because I thought, because normally, with West Didsbury, that's the best one I've done, and I got on there in November somehow. Yeah. They gave me the password. I'm not sure why.
Yeah.
And then since then, and same with the other ones, I've been given the passcode.
Yeah, no.
As soon as I
emailed about the Northern Quarter one afterwards. As soon as they went live, because I wanted to do the February one.
Yeah.
So as soon as it went live, I emailed her and I was like, oh, I did the last market. Can I have the password? And she was like, no. So I was like, oh. I got a spot, but when it went live to everyone, I managed to get one. So
I didn't. It sold out. All it had was ice cream. I thought, I can't pretend I'm an ice cream man.
Oh.
woman, ice cream.
I thought
person.
you meant illustrations of ice cream.
I do have one.
But yeah, so I got onto it, but I was a bit pissed off as well. Well, not pissed off. Because I ain't got a car, right?
Yeah.
And I live in Ancoats.
Yeah.
I know that Northern Quarter is the best one, but that is my local area.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
I
some
live
people come
in
from
Ancoats.
ages away.
People
to
come
sell.
from fucking Macclesfield and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And like, which is completely fair enough.
Yeah.
But that is my local market. And I can't get to any of the other markets. I ain't got a car.
Yeah.
So that's
why
like
I never did markets.
Yeah.
I could never get there.
Yeah.
See, I get a lift off my boyfriend,
Yeah.
and if he can't give me a lift, I get a taxi.
Yeah.
It's worth it.
Yeah. So I was like proper struggling. I was like, well, I'm never going to be able to do a market because I can't get to.
Well, maybe.
Dunno.
Do you know what it is?
Do you know what I mean?
If you get on next month as well, and you've done 3 months in a row,
Yeah.
you might then become a permanent trader.
But that was another thing. So to be able to do it, you've got to have public liability insurance.
Oh yeah.
And you can only get that for a year, so I'm paying monthly for that for a year now. So I was like, right, sound, so can I never get on a market again then? So I'm just paying this £11 a month for no reason. Brilliant. Do you know what I mean?
No, you will. Keep doing it.
No, yeah.
What time does it go off in the morning?
9 a.m, I think.
Set it an alarm every time and
Yeah.
get on there because
So
it's so
hopefully,
good.
yeah.
So did you do well then? You enjoyed it?
Yeah, it did pretty well. There was loads of stuff that I'd like not even thought of. So like I didn't have anything that said who I was. So I'd not even thought. Didn't have like a sign or anything like that because I'd got onto it really last minute.
Right.
So I booked on like 4 days before the market.
Oh wow.
So there must have just been like a random slot
Yeah.
available.
Yeah, maybe someone cancelled.
Someone must have dropped out or cancelled. So I didn't have a sign that said my name or anything like that. I forgot a tablecloth.
Oh no.
So luckily, when I got there, the table was like mouldy. And luckily, I'd taken a ground sheet, like a camping ground sheet,
So you put that on
the floor. So I put that on the table, so that was fine. I didn't have any bags. I'd dropped my phone the day before because I'd gone on a night out, so my phone had smashed. So I had to use my iPad to link up to the card reader. It was like there was just so much that I've never dropped and broken my phone in my life. That's the only time I've ever done it.
Oh no.
So yeah, there was just loads of stuff that I'd like not even considered and not even thought of.
It looked good though. Like you would
Thanks.
never have thought that you were unorganised or anything.
I felt so unorganised. Yeah, it was stressful.
Well, you know now, don't you?
Yeah.
So you did it. You enjoyed it then.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. It were a really good experience, and it's been something that's been like on my bucket list, like on my to-do list for absolutely ages.
It's a big jump, isn't it, to actually do it?
Massive jump to actually do
It
it.
feels quite scary.
And also, I think I've put it off because I do work full time.
Yeah.
I really value my weekends. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've been a bit like, oh, I can't be arsed with that. But actually, it was really fun.
It is, isn't it? And it doesn't really feel like work.
It didn't feel like work at all.
Standing around having a chat.
No, it literally didn't feel like work at all. I really liked it. Like I said, there was loads of stuff that I'd like completely not even thought to do, which I've hopefully rectified this time. But it's expensive as well, buying all the stuff for it. Like buying all the like print stands and stuff.
Oh my god, I put mine on a credit card because I couldn't afford it. I was like, I know I'm going to make money at the market. So I got a credit card. I spent so much money. And now I'm looking at this credit card and I'm like, oh god, I've got to pay this off.
You'll pay it off. You'll do
will.
it. You'll do it.
But it is expensive.
Fucking expensive.
You don't realise that.
No, you
And
don't.
It's like loads of little bits that really
That
add
thing
up.
there that you've got, I'm saving up for one of them.
75
expensive.
but so worth
Yeah,
it.
well worth it. I kept seeing like people who'd obviously been doing it like over time. There was people with like, you know, like proper card twirly things that you get in shops.
Yeah.
I'm like, and also like, where'd you keep that?
Where do you put it?
Where'd you put that? Because like,
Yeah. So that we're talking about a trolley, by the way, that you could, like a really big camping trolley you can put your stuff in.
Yeah.
So that folds up. So
Oh,
it's
handy.
But like here, so that everything's separate.
Yeah.
I've got it in here. Like,
Yeah.
like that. But like
Handy.
it folds up into the car.
Yeah.
So like even when I get taxis, I just put it on the floor.
yeah,
It's fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
Definitely
yeah.
get one of them.
Yeah,
Worth it.
I'll have to look into that because I've got everything in baskets and stuff. Like,
So do you walk down, like when you've done it? Do you
so
walk
I
down
got an
Franco's?
Uber.
Right.
I did get an Uber, but like, the thing is, I've never done one before, so I could have just not made any money.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to sign up for like, I don't know, East Didsbury, because taxi to East Didsbury is like 15 quid.
you'll make your money at West Didsbury.
No, so West Didsbury. But I didn't know that. But do you know what I mean? So I didn't want to be like, oh, what if I get there and then I don't make any money and then I've down 30 quid for these taxis? Do you know what I mean?
No, you will. Yeah. West Didsbury's the best one.
Though,
is
you're
it?
On it. You're on the roster.
Yeah,
then, aren't you?
yeah, that's true. I want to do. Go on.
How much you made in December at that market?
I made like 500 quid on it.
You'll 100%. Because I made in January.
Yeah.
At West Didsbury, I made like 350 quid.
Amazing.
And it was January and everyone around me. Yeah.
That's so good.
See, I'd never made that much because I didn't have like the prints up so that people could see. People had to flip through, but now they're up like that.
See, that was the thing with me. I didn't have them up.
Yeah.
So I had them like, because I'd only had like one box and there was loads. Do you know what I mean? And I'd forgotten to even do anything that said how much they cost. So
you had to
I would never ask someone how much something costs.
If the price isn't there and if I can't see it, because I'm anxious.
Same.
I'm
see, you make so much more. You'll do really well, I reckon. I mean, I know that was Christmas, and I don't know how much I would have made at Northern Quarter Christmas. But even if you made like 300, or even I'm saying
buzzing
200, 30 quid for a taxi is enough.
Yeah.
So try and get on West Didsbury.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah.
And apparently, I've heard Media City one's good. Is that good?
I did that at Christmas, made about 400.
Oh, amazing.
But I don't know if that's because it was a Christmas market.
Yeah.
It's busy.
See, that's the thing as well, because that's the only market I've ever done was Christmas.
Yeah.
But then the one that I did was like really close to Christmas.
It was, wasn't it?
So it was like 20th or something.
Yeah.
Of December. Like it was really close. So like, don't know about you, my present's sorted by then.
Yeah. Mine was sorted in November.
But I think also people sometimes at markets at that time, they're like, I quickly need to just like buy whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, I like that. She'll like that.
Yeah,
like, quick, let me buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what did happen though? And I felt like a fucking right celeb. So this girl came over to me, she was like, I've been following you on Instagram for ages.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my god, really? She was like, yeah, I just saw that you were doing this market, so I've come to say hi. Me and all my friends, yeah. She was like, me and all my friends follow you on Instagram. She was like, oh, it's so funny, like, even hearing your accent. I was like, oh my god. That's never happened to me before.
I love that.
And I was like, oh my god, like,
do you know what I mean?
It's like
that makes all the... Those little negative comments.
Yeah.
Like, that
when there's actually
amazing.
a real person there saying, me and all my friends really like your work, I'm like, do you know what I mean?
That makes everything.
My friend was there and I was like, did you just say that?
I am now famous.
Sorry, consult my agent, because I ain't got fucking time for you.
Yeah, sorry, like, I know I said I'd remember you when I'm famous, but like, I'm too
you're
good for you now.
absolutely dead to me
That was me back then, I'm a new person now.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, that was so good.
Do you know what? Do more.
Yeah.
You, like, think about it, even if you could make £500
a month,
a month
buzzing
on that is so good, and then you'll get like more followers from that.
Yeah.
And then more people will be like, oh, it's like word of mouth as well. Like, where'd you get that from? Oh, the market, and it was illustrated by Charlie, and like, you'll do so well.
Yeah, that was my New Year's resolution. I want to try and do at least one a month.
Yeah.
Didn't do one in January though, because fuck that.
Oh, but
January's rough.
It is. The only reason I think I did all right the end is because it was payday weekend. It was the end.
Right.
That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you're enjoying that.
Yeah, it was good. I really liked it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We wanted to ask you what is 5 things you wish you knew sooner. It can be both personal.
I wrote these down.
Or professional.
So we're gonna ask every guest this.
Right.
This is like.
This is our
5 things.
Our finale.
The first thing that I wish I'd known sooner, and we've talked about this loads, is set your boundaries and fucking stick to them. Respect your own boundaries, because honestly, it is just like, it'll just make your life so much better to set the boundaries. And I do wish I'd done that sooner, especially like when I first started out doing illustrations. I'd have done anything for like anyone just to like gain illustrations. Whereas now I'm like, a boundary for me is that I can't really do commissions anymore. Do you know what I mean? I don't really tend to do commissions.
Because they take the longest.
Take too much time. It's only it's a one and done situation, so I can't sell that as a print. And when you're drawing someone's face, there's a lot of like amends Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, can you make my nose a bit smaller?
Yeah, there's
like,
a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
They
amends.
want you to I've had that. They want you to face tune them.
Yeah, like, so that's just something that I've had to like say is I'm not doing commissions anymore. I did do some over Christmas because I was like, right, I'm gonna just dip my toe in and see if I can.
Yeah, I saw that you did that.
See if I can deal with it. I didn't mind it. I'll be honest, I didn't mind it, but that's because so when I used to do commissions, I used to do the commission and then I'd ask for the payment. And have you ever not been paid?
Oh yeah, I've had that before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Like, so now
I don't work now without at least 50% deposit.
well,
no
now they've got to pay for it up front now if they want a commission. So it's
Yeah.
set, it's a product on my website, so they've got to order it through the website and pay for it, and then it says on the website it'll take 3 weeks. I've had some messages today like, oh, do you reckon you'll be able to do them by Valentine's Day? No, I don't reckon I'll be able to do them by Valentine's Day. So that's a boundary for me, because there would have been a time that I would have been like, absolutely, yeah, course, I'll squeeze you in, I'll do it, and then
Like
I'd have cancelled plans.
thing,
I'd have cancelled plans with friends. I'd have done anything just to get that one commission. When why?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that's one big thing for me, is setting boundaries and like knowing what you can and can't take on. So like, you probably haven't even noticed, but I usually do Valentine's cards, and this year I haven't.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have the mental capacity to do them.
No.
So, and I think it's about acknowledging what you can and can't take on at that moment in time. And like, just because I did Valentine's cards last year doesn't mean I have to do one. Like, no one's knocking on my door.
Yeah, I was going to design some new Galentine's cards, and I just went, fuck it, I'm going to use the ones I did last year.
Yeah, and did anyone care?
No. Nobody was upset with me.
No one's knocking on your door saying, excuse me, Laura, we were expecting new designs this year.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
exactly.
mean?
It felt really good, actually.
Yeah,
I need to do it more.
Yeah, you need to do that more. You really need to set those boundaries. That's a big one for me, is just making sure that you respect your own boundaries and your own time and what you can and can't take on at that moment in time.
Yeah.
Another one for me is, so this is one that I've one thing that I wish I'd known sooner, and we've talked about, is I wish I'd known that needing therapy doesn't mean that you're weak. So I feel as though I had built my whole identity on being strong.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
That's
and what does that mean? Like, what does that actually mean? Like, I feel like I built my whole identity on being like infallible and like, oh yeah, I've been through so much and I can deal with everything and I'm completely fine. And I almost felt like I put off going to therapy for fucking years. I always knew I needed it, and I put it off and I put it off and I put it off for so long because I felt like it was admitting that I wasn't strong.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on a tangent. I'm the complete opposite.
Really?
So I've been in and out of therapy since I was like 12.
Yeah.
So my whole identity was around me not having mental health issues or having some kind of like other problems and problems, I don't know, quote. So I found it hard that now I'm starting to feel better.
Yeah.
To find out who I am, because I've always been like, oh, Roxanne, she's very anxious and she's very depressed and she needs to be watched and looked after and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm growing into my own. I'm like, I feel like I'm taking like a part. I feel like my identity's been shaken up a bit and been like, so who am I now then? Now I've taken this away and now this isn't my whole identity and now it's not taking over my life. I'm like, who is Roxanne? Yeah. And what does she do? But yeah, no, I just found it interesting that it's just like the complete opposite. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Like, why do we... I feel like we form these opinions of ourselves and like, why do we stick to them so like militantly? Like,
because we're
people change.
The word multifaceted.
Yeah, people grow, people change. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's alright to change and it's not.
Okay. And also, as well, the thing with me with therapy was, it was almost like, so I've like obviously built this brand online about like, you've got to be there for yourself. You've got to do you know what I mean? Like, you've got to set your boundaries. You've got to respect yourself. But it was almost like there was a little voice in my head that was like, not you though. Not you. Do you know what I mean? Like, except you. You like, don't deserve peace. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like there was like this little voice in my head that was saying like, oh, except you. you can fuck off. Like,
I think we like to not take our own advice.
We really like to not take our own advice. So if one of my friends had come to me and said, I'm going to therapy, I'd be like, oh my god, you are so strong, amazing.
Yeah.
And I genuinely would have been so proud of them. I would have been like, that's incredible. What an amazing step to take. Like, how strong are you to accept that you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was like a voice in my head that was like, oh, but if you got therapy, that means you're weak.
Even though you knew.
Even though I knew it didn't. I know that it doesn't mean I'm weak. And now, like, I'm fucking shouting from the rooftops. I'm like, oh my god, everyone, if you can get therapy, please, it's amazing. Yeah. If you have access to therapy,
do it.
Like, do
Even
it.
Even if you have to wait on a long waiting list.
Even if you have to wait on a long waiting list, please go to therapy. Like, if it's available to you, like, obviously us being in the UK, it's even amazing that it's available to us on the NHS. So, but I think, if you can, that's one thing that I really wish I'd done it sooner, because I think that I'd probably be leading a very different life. Not that I'm leading a bad life, because like I say, like I've got a really good life.
Yeah.
I love that. I know.
Thanks.
And I can tell.
Thanks.
You like radiate happiness.
Oh,
I feel like I know you're saying like, you know, you want to feel peace, but like I feel like you're at peace.
I am at peace now. I am at peace.
Feel peaceful.
Yeah, I genuinely am at peace. You have good vibes.
I like your aura. Good
vibes.
You
do have a good aura.
Thanks everyone. I'll be like, Mum, they said I've got good vibes. No, but I am at peace. Like, I do feel like, don't get me wrong, I don't feel like 100% calm all the time. Like, I still do have anxiety. Yeah. But I am at peace with myself. Like, I like who I am. I know that I'm a nice person. I've got a good group of friends. Got a good, strong relationship. Yeah. I've got a good relationship with my boyfriend. Like, I like who I am, so I am at peace. And yeah, I think that's so one thing that I wish I'd been able to do sooner, because I think when I was younger, like, especially when I was like a young teenager, I was almost like, oh yeah, this is just who I am. Like, I'm just unhappy. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
There is a glamorisation of it. And sometimes you can just be comfortable in your own chaos.
Yeah.
And you're used to it. So it's like, I don't want to, like you were saying before, Roxanne, like, you kind of almost don't know who you are when you're not chaotic. Yeah. I seen a TikTok the other day, sorry, going on a tangent. Seen a TikTok yesterday, actually, this girl, and she was like, don't you just hate it when things that your therapist suggests to you to make you feel better work? Like, don't you just hate it? And then someone was like, why do you hate it? And she's like, because we're in our own chaos and we don't like who we are when we're not sad, because we don't know who that is. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird. Anyway, sorry.
God, therapy's amazing, isn't it? My third one was, you're not a failure. You're only in your 20s.
Yeah.
That would be a big one.
That's one thing a lot of people have said to me, are in, like, going into the 30s now. Yeah. Of being like, just chill.
You need to chill out.
For a bit. You're 26, just chill.
I feel so old.
Yeah, it does.
Well, then also I feel 19.
Yeah, I don't
But you can't, like, the thing is, you can't, how can you be a failure? You're not finished yet.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, you're not done yet, so how what do you mean?
It's a bit like learning to drive. Like, it's a bit like me saying I'm failing at driving. Just like, we haven't took your test
you haven't even tried. You haven't even done it yet. You've not. Do you know what I mean? How can you be a failure because you've not finished yet?
Yeah.
There's always going to be ups and downs in, like, life, and I think that I wish that that's something that I'd learned when I was younger. I remember when I was 22, when I first moved to Manchester, and I went into recruitment.
Yeah.
And I remember I rang my mum because I thought I was going to be like next top fashion designer. I rang my mum and I was like, I'm a failure. I feel like I'm a failure. And my mum was like, she was like laughing. She was like, oh my God, you're 22 years old. It's not even possible to be a failure at 22 years old. Like,
I think we need to put that in a reel.
Yeah.
We need to put it in a reel.
I was just
You're not even finished yet. I read your mind. Telepathical. Yeah, sure. I'll put a star.
We've done that many episodes now. We kind of give each other the look to be like,
that was a great point.
That was a real.
Amazing.
But yeah, like, I remember ringing my mum and she was like, you can't possibly be a failure. You're only 22. Like, you're not finished yet. Like, and I wish that that's something that I'd learned. And I think one thing moving to Manchester with like a group of girls, like my group of uni girls, we all moved to Manchester at a similar time. And obviously we'd all graduated and we kind of come out of a stage in life where we were all at the same point at the same time.
Yeah.
So we were all at uni at the same time, we were all at school at the same time, and then suddenly we were out into the world and some people were ahead and some people were behind.
It's so hard not to...
So hard not to...
You feel like you're failing because somebody else is doing this.
Yeah.
It's like, I could never do that.
Yeah, but something that I've learned... Have you ever listened to the Sunscreen song?
No.
Wow, you need to listen to the
Sunscreen song.
Do you want to sing
it to us?
It's not a song, it's Baz Luhrmann, I think, don't quote me on that. But it's basically... It's a song, but it's just life advice. And it's in one of it, it's like... sometimes you're ahead and sometimes you're behind. The race is long and in the end it's only with yourself.
Yeah.
And because I listen to that whenever I feel down. Listen to
Sunscreen song.
Sunscreen, yeah. It's called Baz Luhrmann Sunscreen. Everybody's free to wear sunscreen. That's the one. And it's just basically this song. It's not even a song. It's just life advice.
Yeah.
Listen to it, please, because it will make you feel... Yeah, it's a really good song. But I remember I used to listen to that when I was younger, so I've been listening to that song. I don't know how I came across it when I was like 16. And every now and then when I feel down, I listen to that. And when I came to Manchester and out of uni and some people are ahead and like I'd compare myself, so like the girl that I lived with got a job like more or less straight away and I was still working in a shop.
Yeah.
Like when I moved here, so I moved here with an internship, but I still worked in retail. So I was, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I was like, oh my god, she's already done it, and I'm just so behind. But then I got a job, and then it just flexed, and it sometimes felt like
it always
sometimes
does.
feels
It's
like some people are ahead of you. Then it feels like you're ahead of them. You're never gonna be on the same level, and it's not ahead or behind, it's just a different path.
See, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
You're used to it in school.
Yeah.
Because you're always on the same path and then all of a sudden you're released.
It's just
and
a
it's
different
like,
path.
whoa, you're over there, I'm here.
Different path.
Like,
And I think I wish that that's something that because I fully know that now. So like there was times, and I feel bad admitting it, but there was times when like, say if I was feeling shit about myself and one of my mates got promoted, I'd feel even more shit. And I hate that.
Yeah.
Because you just want to be happy.
Because you just want to be happy for your friend. Whereas now, genuinely, I want my friends to succeed more than I care about myself succeeding. I think I've just learned that I'm not in competition with them.
Yeah.
Like somebody else's success doesn't mean your failure.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a very good point as well.
God, I feel like fucking Gandhi.
So well, sweetie.
And another one was, you can do whatever the fuck you want, stop saying sorry. Because I used to say sorry for everything. And I used to feel like I had to explain myself to everyone.
I do.
Yeah.
You do it all
People
the time.
come to my house and I'm like, I'm really sorry, I think the cat's just pooed. And
No.
they're like, they don't want to know
No.
that as soon as they come through the door. Like,
No.
your cat has a little box,
No.
it's fine.
No.
And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, like,
No.
the bathroom isn't the best.
No, you need to stop that.
Everything.
So my New Year's resolution of 2018 was to not apologise for things that I wasn't sorry for. Fuck me, were it hard. It was so
For which year?
2018 it was, yeah. I remember.
Stop apologising for things.
Stop apologising for things that you're not sorry for. Like, don't. Why are you apologising? So really interesting, right? As I've just said, me and my boyfriend are in the process of buying a house at the minute.
Oh, love it, love it, love it.
Thank you. We're in the process of buying a house at the minute, and we needed to send this email. And Jim was like, I'm just going to draft it, and you just tweak it and send it. And I got this, he sent me this email through, and I was tweaking it, and I was going through it, and I was like, so sorry to bother you. And I was tweaking it like that, and
that's a
adding,
lady thing
do you know what I mean?
isn't it?
I was adding things on it, like, I just wondered if you could possibly, and I thought to myself, oh my god, why am I doing this? So I just deleted them all, and I sent it, and, because it was like, we need to talk to you about this, full stop. Full
No
stop.
exclamation mark.
No exclamation marks, but it wasn't rude. It was still polite. Do you know what I mean? And that just really like hit home for me, like how much in emails I'm like, hi, exclamation mark, and then
Smiley face.
there's sometimes men. So it's ingrained in us as well, because sometimes. So if I got an email from a man at work, didn't have any exclamation marks or anything on it, I'd be like, fine. If it came from a woman, I'd be like, oh, she's mad at me.
Yeah.
The difference. So that's one thing that I wish that I'd told myself sooner, because I still do apologise for things that I'm not sorry for.
But you know now.
But I'm aware of it, and I try not to. I try to be a bit less apologetic about existing. Mm-hmm. Sorry for existing.
Yeah, you just bumped into me.
Yeah,
I'm not going to say sorry to you.
Yeah. So that's one thing that I really wish that I'd known sooner. Is like,
that's a really good one.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
I'm going to try and take that into my life as well.
Yeah.
I'll let you know how I get on with it.
Yeah, let me know.
Probably message you later and say, I've said sorry 6 times already.
Hope it goes well. Count how many times today you say sorry.
Yeah, I will.
Try
if
count
I can
it.
Remember.
You'll be blown away.
Oh my god, I might set a note.
Yeah, you'll be fucking blown away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This has really affected me, this conversation.
I've really enjoyed it.
I'm enjoying it, yeah. You've got one left, haven't you?
Have I?
Yes. I think so. Was that number 4?
Oh, stop trying to be a fashion designer.
Right.
So that's one thing that I wish that I told myself when I was 22. Because you're never going to be a fashion designer. You don't want to be a fashion designer. It's just... So basically, I'd spent like my whole life telling everyone that I'm going to be a fashion designer since I was like 5. And I was like, I'm going to be a fashion designer. And then I went to uni to be a fashion designer. And I just... it was my idea. It was who I was. Do you know what I mean? It was my identity. And then in 3rd year, I realised I couldn't think of anything fucking worse than being a fashion designer. Honestly, I hate technical flats. So when
I hate technical flats.
I fucking hate them. So technical flats, for anyone who doesn't know what a technical flat is, it's basically like a CAD drawing, computer-aided design drawing, of a garment that gets sent off to the factory so that the factory know exactly how to make that.
Yeah, so it's garment. Like all in proportion.
Yeah.
And it's like very technical. You've got to include everything.
Everything. So you've got to be like zip here, button here, like everything.
Stitching goes here. This button is this type of button.
Yeah. And you do them on Adobe Illustrator and they are an absolute ball ache, aren't they? Yeah. I hate them. And that is mainly what a graduate fashion designer does.
Yeah. Do you know what I used to do in uni? Did you do the same thing? Do you have WGSN?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
I just downloaded the CADs, changed a few bits, and said 100%. That was my design.
Yeah. Yeah. Soz, don't take my degree off me.
Yeah. Well, my degree's already gone. That's long gone in my old desk.
I don't know where my physical degree is.
Oh, that's all right then.
Mine's in a frame on the wall.
No, I've lost my physical degree because
I don't have much, so I can frame in that.
No, I have absolutely no idea where my physical degree is.
Honestly, you can get a new one.
You can contact. So I could contact Sheffield Hallam. So I went to Hallam. You can contact him and get them to send you a new one.
I think it costs about 50 quid because I've googled it.
Yeah, but like similarly, why would I need it now?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, has anyone ever asked you what degree you got? No.
I mean, I've never worked in corporate.
Has anyone ever asked you what degree you got?
I mean, when I got my design job, they never asked to see my degree. They just believed it.
Could have lied.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'd built my whole like identity on being a fashion designer. Like, told all my aunties and uncles, I'm going to be a fashion designer. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Went off to uni, and then realised in 3rd year that I didn't want to be a fashion designer. And then I was like, oh my god, if I don't do this, everyone's going to be like, ha ha.
Yeah.
She's not a designer. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, she's not then. Do you know what I mean?
But that's they probably wouldn't have, but that's just
no,
you like feeling like you've let yourself down sort of thing.
But I was applying for design jobs and I was doing like design internships knowing that I hated it. Like, I didn't like it. So I wish that that's something that I'd stopped chasing for so long. And just like as soon as I realised that I didn't like it, not done it, because actually I probably should have transferred onto a different course. I should have done graphic design really.
Yeah, I don't think I didn't enjoy my course.
No, it's
I should have done an illustration course.
Yeah, I wish I had done an illustration rather than graphic
brutal
contemporary art.
Yeah. So that's something that I wish I'd known sooner.
So Charlie, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Oh,
I'm so glad we've had you on. We've literally got so obviously you're listening to this now. It won't be this long, but we've got 4 hours and 10 minutes of footage. So, I mean, I really hope that you've enjoyed this. Yeah. But
sorry about that.
No, honestly, it's all amazing stuff. Yeah, so thanks so much for having us. I mean, wait, no.
Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. I've loved it. I've absolutely loved it. It's been such a laugh.
Do you want to plug anything? Do you want to say your social media?
Yeah, you can. You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok. It's both the same. It's at Illustrated by Charlie.
Nice and simple.
I think this has been a bit... We say this every single episode. This has been such a good episode.
This has been the best one so far every time. But I really agree. I think this is going to have the most hits, Charlie.
Oh, I hope so. I've had so much fun. Thanks so much for inviting me.
I know. And we're going to have some lunch now, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm starving.
We're going to order an Uber Eats, I think.
Excellent.
We're going to get something. What do you fancy?
I'm starving.
Yeah, that's so funny. Do you mean anything?
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Why? What do you say?
No,
anything.
See, that's dead funny. So I'm from Oldham, and we got out.
I'll
eat out.
Yeah.
But it's thing because I used to live with a girl who's from Barnsley, and she used to go
Yeah.
I love it. I love your accent so much. Oh my god, we haven't even said where you're from.
I'm from Bradford.
We'll try put that in at the beginning.
BFD, Bradford Massive.
Yeah, so thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we've enjoyed it, because I've had a blast.
I've had a blast.
Me
Have
too.
you on every week.
Me too.
So you can follow FOXANNE, FOXANNE_. You can follow me, Laura Francis Heitzman. So long. Bloody hell. But you should see in the script, Roxanne wrote it, and she's wrote, and I'm your host Laura, and then she's just like typed random letters, blah, blah, blah,
just because my brain can't compute spelling sometimes.
It's so funny.
But yeah, no, so I hope you've enjoyed listening to it or watching it, wherever you're digesting the Do It For Yourself podcast, and we will see you next week for another episode.
What are you going to say then?
No, I was just going to be like, wherever you get your podcasts.
Your
favourite podcast platform.
Podcast streaming platform. Amazing. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.